on the add-on counter.
Okay, thank you. All right, good morning, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Judge Law, and we're going to begin with our misdemeanor calendar. This is the Fulton County State All-Purpose Calendar, a list of misdemeanor cases for individuals who were recently arrested and booked at the Fulton County Jail. Their cases have now been formally accused. Initial appearances for most of these cases have already been held, and bonds have been established. Today, we're going to get a status of these cases to see how the defendant would like to move forward. The prosecutor, who is the Solicitor General's Office of Fulton County, has made certain offers to the defense counsel representing the defendants. So we will see today whether the cases will be resolved by a plea or whether defendants would like to exercise their constitutional right, enter a not guilty plea, and move their cases forward to trial. If you're a defendant accused of one or more misdemeanor offenses, please remember that you have a right to remain silent. Anything you choose to say during the course of this virtual proceeding, your statements can and will be used against you. This virtual proceeding is not only being recorded, but live streamed. So please remember to exercise your right to remain silent. If you need to speak to your attorney, please let me know. You have a right to an attorney. If you cannot afford one, one will be appointed to represent you. You can either be represented by the Public Defender's Office or one of the attorneys from our appointed conflict list. Okay. Other cases that we may possibly be addressing today are also motions to set aside a bench warrant and probation revocation cases, as well as any bond modifications requested by defense counsel. So Ms. Kim, Ms. Challenger, Ms. McLeod, Mr. Murphy, Ms. Falk, Happy New Year. Welcome to the new era.
Morning, Judge Law. Happy New
Happy New Year to you
Happy
too.
New Year. All right. Happy New Year, Ms. Wright and Ms. Falk. Okay, everybody
Good
looks
morning, Your
bright
Honor.
and perky. Okay.
Happy New Year.
And Ms. McKechnie. All right. We have all the attorneys who have renewed their bar dues and ready for the new year. Okay, that's good. All right. Ms. Kim, good morning. Happy New Year. Who are we addressing in courtroom 2?
Good morning, Your Honor. This is Deputy Saint Seren.
Repeat.
This is Saint Seren in courtroom 2. We could go with position number 7 on the add-on.
Okay.
Norris.
All right. So let me just go through a couple of things. Ms. Challenger, who is your client?
Yes, Your Honor. It is Jasmine Thomas.
Okay. And deputy in courtroom 2, is Jasmine Thomas present?
He's at ACDC.
He's at ACDC? G? Okay. So Ms. Challenger, what I'm going to do is place you into a breakout with your client, perhaps to convey any information you may have obtained from the prosecutor's office, and also address your pending motion to withdraw.
Okay, perfect.
All right.
And Your Honor, I'm not sure who the prosecutor is on this case. I haven't even spoken to anyone. So
Ms. Challenger, which position is this?
40 and 41 on the regular calendar.
ASG Makake will send you in the chat, she'll send you the recommendation.
Okay, great. Thank you.
All right. Meanwhile,
Sorry, 41 and 42, Judge.
41 and 42. Ms. McKechnie, if you could convey the offer to Ms. Challenger. All right, let's begin with Mr. Marco Norris, accused of theft by shoplifting in case number 24 CR 8125J. Mr. Norris, my name is Judge Law. You've been advised of your right to remain silent, and your attorney is Ms. Kim. Ms. Kim, how are we proceeding?
Non-negotiated plea.
All right. Mr. Norris, please raise your right hand. For purposes of the plea, do you solemnly swear and affirm the testimony you provide will be the truth to the best of your knowledge?
Yes.
All right, thank you. Ms. Falk, what's the recommendation for Mr. Norris?
Yes, Your Honor. The state's recommendation on Mr. Norris's case is 12 months served 112 days, credit for time served 56 days from November 8th, 2024 until today. stay away from all Walmart locations, a $500 fine, 40 hours of community service, and an anti-theft course. The reason this is non-negotiated is because the defendant is unhoused, and the state would not, because the $500 fine is statutory, the state will not agree to modify that to community service since it is a statutory fine. I will point out that the defendant's entire history is shoplifting. He has a total of 29 cycles, failure to appear, theft by shoplifting in September of 2024 out of DeKalb County, failure to appear in Fulton County in August of 2024, 2 counts of theft by shoplifting in, well, this case in August of 2024, a theft by shoplifting out of East Point in July of 2024, probation violation in 2017, shoplifting in 2017, another criminal trespass in 2015, another shoplifting in 2013, convictions for theft by shoplifting in 2011 and 2009, and in 2010. So, quite frankly, the defendant's history is essentially littered with these, which is why the state would not agree to drop the anti-theft. That's all for the state.
All right. Ms. Kim, does your client have any holds at the present time?
As of now, there's no hold, and this is the only thing that is keeping him in a jail. And he is 56 years old. He does need some help to get back to the society.
All right. And are you asking for his fine to be amended?
Do 50 hours of community service and remove anti-theft course.
So 50 hours of community service for the $500 fine, and then he's also got a requirement for an additional 40 hours community service. Is that correct?
Total 90
That is
hours.
correct, Your Honor.
All right. And 56 years old, what is his residency situation?
He is currently homeless right now.
He's residentially challenged, is that what you said?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay.
And he also has a medical condition that needs some help with,
And who's going to help him?
he does not have any help as of now. So I am arranging social worker services.
Okay. On the, well, my problem is his numerous violations, even his probation violation. So I will amend the $500 fine, but it's going to be amended to 100 hours of community service. His total requirement is going to be 140 hours of community service. He will report to the probation services twice a month for the first 4 months. I will waive his probation fees for the months of January and February. And then on March 1st, 2025, he will need to start paying probation fees. He will need to get a job. I don't know whether he gets an SSI check or wherever his source of income is, but he'll need to start paying probation fees from March 1st, 2025. He will report to probation, as I said, twice a month for the months of January through April 2025. If he is satisfactorily completing his community service hours and has completed the anti-theft class, then his reporting requirements will be amended to once a month beginning May 1st, 2025. He's to stay away from all Walmart shops. He's not allowed to return to any Walmart shop, including the incident location. And if he gets arrested again for anything else, his probation will be revoked and he will end up spending the rest of the term of probation in prison. So a total of 140 hours of community service, anti-theft class, probation fees to commence from March 1st, and report to probation twice a month.
He says yes.
All right, and you understand, sir, if you don't report or if you get arrested again, you'll be ending up spending the rest of the year in prison.
Yes.
Do you understand that? Okay. Mr. and Miss Kim, do you stipulate to the factual basis, venue, and ID?
Yes, we do.
Okay. Mr. Norris, have you consumed any medicine or alcohol?
Medicine.
And after consuming the medicine, are you still able to understand your lawyer and these proceedings?
Yes.
Do you understand the modified sentence that the court is requiring?
Yes.
Are you satisfied with your legal services today?
Yes.
And Mr. Norris, if you decide to plead guilty to this theft by shoplifting conviction, you would have to give up your constitutional right to a trial before a judge or a jury. You will not get the opportunity to go back to court, to confront your accuser, have your attorney help you to challenge the evidence brought against you, to be able to present your defenses and arguments, and have the prosecution carry her burden to prove the charges against you beyond a reasonable doubt. Are you prepared to give up these rights?
Yes.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear you. How do you plead to one count of theft by shoplifting?
Guilty.
Your sentence is going to be 12 months to serve 112 days, credit for time served 15 days, balance probated. If you have no other holds presently, then you will be released within 24 hours, but you must report to Fulton County Probation on Monday, January 6, 2025, before 3 p.m. The probation office is located at 132 Mitchell Street in downtown Atlanta. While you are on probation, you are to enroll and complete an anti-theft class within 120 days from today. You are to complete 140 hours of community service at any nonprofit agency that's not a church and not a school. You will do the community service at any nonprofit agency that is a 501c organization, and you must get your supervisor to sign off on these hours. You will do a minimum of 15 hours a month. That's 15 hours a month. Do you understand, sir?
Yes.
For the months of January through April, you will report to probation twice a month. You will start paying probation fees from March 1st, 2025 onwards. If you have completed the anti-theft class and you're up to date with your probation fees, then your probation will be amended to once a month from May 1st, 2025 onwards. But you will report until the remainder of the year is over. There is no non-reporting and there's no early termination of your probation. You're also required to stay away from all Walmart stores. If you get arrested again or if you fail to comply with probation, this probation will be revoked and you will end up spending the rest of the year in prison. Any questions, Ms. Kim?
No question, Your Honor.
Can I get a rebate for the probation fee?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good morning, Judge. Happy New Year to you.
Happy New Year, Francois. How are you?
Good, thank you.
All
This is going
right.
to be position number 23 and 24, Jones.
Okay. Do you have position 41 and 42 there as well, Ms. Jasmine?
Yes, I do.
Her attorney needs to speak with her, Sharice Challenger, Jasmine Thomas.
Very good.
Okay, the only thing is I'm going to need her contact number if she can put it in the chat.
All right, Ms. Challenger, if you can put the best number to reach you in the chat to Fulton ACDC.
Okay. Yes, I'll put that in. Fulton, I see it. I'll put it in now. Thank you, Your Honor.
All right. Francois, I'm sorry, which case are we addressing?
This is 23 and 24, Charity
24.
Jones.
Okay. This is Charity Jones accused of criminal trespass causing damage to property from February 16th, 2022 in case number 22 CR 817F. She's also got a bench warrant from April 1st, 2024 under 24 FTA 001-991. This announcement is for Ms. Jones as well as everyone else at ACDC who's got charges brought against them. Please remember that you have a right to remain silent. Anything that you say about the facts of your case during this virtual proceeding, your statements can and will be used against you in the treatment of your case. You have a right to an attorney. If you cannot afford one, one will be appointed to represent you. All right, I understand. Who's representing Ms. Jones?
I do, Your Honor.
Ms. Kim? Okay. So Ms. Jones, today you'll be represented by Ms. Kim, who is in courtroom 2. Do you see her?
Yes,
All right. And this is going to be a negotiated plea. Ms. Jones, please raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear and affirm the testimony you provide will be the truth to the best of your knowledge?
yes.
Thank you. Ms. Folk, what's the recommendation for Ms. Jones?
Yes, Your Honor. The state's recommendation on this is time served. She has served 108 days, credit for time served 54 days. That is from February 16th to February 18th of 2022, July 20th to July 24th of 2023, October 25th to November 21st of 2023, and December 16th of 2024 until today. That resulted because she had a number of FTAs and she kept getting rearrested. So that will result in a time served plea with no additional probation since this incident happened in 2022. And we have agreed to null pros position 24 upon the taking of this plea. We do ask the defense to stipulate to venue factual basis and identification for the purposes of the plea.
Yes, we do.
Ms. Norris, have you consumed, excuse me, not Ms. Norris, Ms. Jones, have you consumed any medicine or alcohol recently?
No,
Have you understood what's going on in your case?
yes,
Are you satisfied with your legal services?
yes,
And has it been explained to you that by entering this guilty plea, you give up your right to a trial in front of a judge or jury? You will not be able to confront your accuser, challenge the evidence brought against you, present your own defenses and arguments, and have the state prove the charge beyond a reasonable doubt. Are you prepared to give up these rights?
yes,
How do you plead to one count of criminal trespass causing damage to property?
yes,
Your sentence is going to be 108 days, credit for time served 54 days. Your obligation for this case is closed and your bench warrant will be dismissed. Thank you.
thank you.
Next, we can go to position number 34 and 35, Mr. James Robinson. Robinson.
Ms. Kim, that's your client too?
Your Honor.
Okay. This is James Devon Robinson, accused of simple assault from June 4th, 2024, accusation 24 CR 3482Y. Mr. Robinson also has a bench warrant from October 22nd, 2024, under 24 FTA 1997. Mr. Robinson, you've been advised of your rights. Your attorney is Ms. Kim. May I place you under oath for the plea?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you raise your right? Do you solemnly swear and affirm the testimony you provide will be the truth to the best of your knowledge?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. Ms. Mokeke, what's the recommendation?
The state's recommendation, Your Honor, is 12 months to serve 44 days, credit for time served 22 days. The balance to be probated, that he have no further contact with the victim in this case, Gerald Davis. He stay away from 868 Rock Street Northwest in Atlanta, undergo 12 weeks of anger management, and have absolutely no firearms in his possession. we will be no crossing the FTA upon this plea, and I would just ask the court to sound for the victim, Mr. Gerald Davis.
Mr. Davis, Gerald Davis, if you're on Zoom, you'll need to unmute and start your video. Don't see anyone by that name. Okay, Ms. Kim, do you so stipulate? Mr. Robinson, have you consumed any medicine or alcohol recently?
No, ma'am.
Have you understood what's going on in your case?
That's correct. Yes,
And
ma'am.
are you satisfied with your attorney?
Ma'am, I am.
Was that no?
Yes, yes, ma'am, I am.
Okay. Has it been explained to you that if you decide to enter this guilty plea, you would have to give up your right to a trial, to go back to court, confront your accuser, present any defenses and arguments you may have, and have the state prove the charge beyond a reasonable doubt? Are you prepared to do that?
Yes, ma'am.
How do you plead to one count of simple assault?
I'll plead guilty.
Your sentence is 12 months to serve 44 days, credit for time served 22 days. If you have no other cases holding you, you'll be released within 24 hours. You report to probation on Monday, January 6th before 3 p.m. And the probation office is at 132 Mitchell Street in downtown Atlanta. While on probation, you are to have no contact with Gerald Davis. You stay 200 yards away from him and do not communicate with him in any way, form, or manner. You also have to stay away from 868 Rock Street in Northwest Atlanta. Do you have any belongings there?
Yes, ma'am.
You're allowed a one-time visit to that location, but you must have a police officer accompany you. And you can retrieve your belongings, but you cannot retrieve any weapons and any firearms, as you're not allowed to own or possess or have any firearms around you. You're also to enroll and complete 12 anger management classes. You will enroll in those classes within 45 days of your release, and you must show proof to your probation that you have started attending these classes. These are 12 weekly classes, and you must complete them to the satisfaction of your probation officer. You will report to probation once a month until the entire time of your probation is completed. Thank you.
Your Honor, can he have a 2-month wait for probation fees? He does not have a job as of now.
I will waive it for January and February. He starts paying on March 1st, 2025 onwards.
Thank you very much, Your Honor.
And his bench warrant is dismissed.
Thank you.
Next case, please.
This is gonna be position number 21, Howard.
Ms. Kim, is that your client too?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. This is Shanquella Howard, accused of simple battery from December 6, 2024. Ms. Howard, your accusation number is 24 CR 8002E. You've been advised of your rights. Your attorney is Ms. Kim. Do you see her on the screen?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. May I place you under oath for your plea? Do you solemnly swear the information you provide will be the truth to the best of your knowledge?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. Ms. Falk?
Yes, Your Honor. The state's recommendation is 12 months probation, serve 56 days, credit for time served 28 days. That's going to be from December 6, 2024 until today. That is based on negotiation of the terms between myself and PD Kim. Balance probated, stay away from Emory University in Midtown Hospital, located at 550 Peachtree Street Northeast in Atlanta, unless for medical treatment. No further contact with Kenethia McCrae and MHET or BHET. Miss PD Kim will need to let me know which one the defendant has chosen. The state would like to sound from Kenethia McCrae if she is here, and we do ask the defense to stipulate to venue, factual basis, and identification for the purposes of the plea. That's all for the state.
Ms. McCrae? All right. And Ms. Kim, you so stipulate? Sorry?
We do.
Thank you. Ms. Howard, have you consumed any medicine or alcohol recently?
No.
Have you understood what's going on in your case so far?
Yes, ma'am, I do.
And are you satisfied with your legal services?
Yes, I am.
And after you've spoken to your attorney, what have you decided to undergo? A MH evaluation or a behavioral health evaluation?
Behavior,
Repeat.
behavior health.
All right. Has it been explained to you that also if you decide to plead guilty, you would be giving up your right to a trial in front of a judge or a jury? You will not get the chance to go back to court to confront your accuser, present your defenses and arguments with the help of your attorney, to challenge the evidence brought against you, and have the state prove the charge beyond a reasonable doubt. Are you prepared to give up these rights?
Yes, ma'am, I am.
How do you plead to one count of simple battery?
Guilty.
Your sentence is 12 months to serve 56 days, credit for time served 28 days. That means that your jail time is concluded, and if you have no other holds, the remainder of your year will be on probation. You will report to the Fulton County Probation Office on Monday, January 6th before 3 p.m. That's located at 132 Mitchell Street in downtown Atlanta. While you are on probation, you will enroll and complete a behavioral health evaluation within 45 days of being released. And then if there's any treatment or counseling required, you must comply with all treatment and counseling that's required. You're also to stay away from the Emory University Midtown Hospital at 550 Peachtree Street in Northeast Atlanta. You are only allowed to enter that hospital if you are seeking emergency treatment or if you have a verifiable appointment with a doctor or some kind of healthcare provider. Otherwise, you're not allowed to enter that hospital. You would have to obtain your regular medical treatment from another facility. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
So will I be getting released today?
Within 24 hours, but you report to probation on Monday before 3 p.m. Thank you.
Thank you.
Courtroom 2.
Next, we can go to position 1 and 2, Mr. Barkin, John Barkin.
1 and 2.
1, 2.
Yeah. No, John Barkin, position 1 and 2.
Oh, 1 and 2.
Yeah. Miss Anna Wright,
Yes, Your Honor, I'm going,
go ahead.
I'm so sorry, Your Honor, I interrupted you, I shouldn't have.
No, it's okay. What were you planning to do with Mr. Barkin's case?
I need to speak to him if possible, Your Honor.
Okay. Courtroom 2, PD Anna Wright would need to speak with Mr. Barkin. How should she?
She can give quorum 2 a call or give us her number so we can call her.
That's fine, if you can put the number in the chat, I'll call right now.
Okay. In the picture. We can go to Miss Kim's client, position 45 and 46. Mr. Harris. Yeah.
This is State versus Harish White. Mr. White, you've been advised of your right to remain silent, and your attorney is Ms. Kim. You have 2 matters before the court today. On position 46, you have been accused of battery under accusation 24 CR 609B from a February 2nd, 2024 incident. With respect to position 45, this is a bench warrant from June 17th, 2024 under case 24 FTA 1993. Is this going to be a plea, Ms. Kim?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. Mr. White, please raise your right hand for the purposes of the plea. Do you solemnly swear and affirm the testimony you provide will be the truth to the best of your knowledge?
Yes.
Thank you. Ms. Mukeke, what's the recommendation for position 46?
The recommendation for Mr. White is 12 months to serve 38 days, credit for time served 19 days, balance probated, that he take 8 weeks of anger management, no further contact with Ortega Rodriguez, stay away from all MARTA locations, and that he have no firearms in his possessions. We will be null processing the FDA upon this plea, and I would ask the court to sound for the victim in this case and also for the defense to stipulate to venue, factual basis, and identification.
Ortega Jorge Rodriguez. Don't see anyone by that name on Zoom. Ms. Kim, do you so stipulate for purposes of the plea? Mr. White, have you consumed any medicine or alcohol recently?
No.
Have you understood what's going on in your case?
Yes. Okay, how you doing?
And are you satisfied with the legal services you've received?
Yes.
Has it been explained that if you decide to plead guilty to the battery charge, you would have to give up your right to a trial? You would not be able to confront your accuser, challenge the evidence brought against you, have your attorney help you to present your arguments and defenses in a court of law, and have the state prove the charge beyond a reasonable doubt. Are you prepared to give up these rights?
Yes.
How do you plead to 1 count of battery?
Guilty, Your Honor.
Your sentence is 12 months to serve 38 days, credit for time served 19 days. If you have no other holds, you'll be released within 24 hours, but you must report to probation on Monday, January 6th, before 3 p.m. While on probation, you will complete 8 anger management classes, and you must enroll in those classes within 45 days of being released, and you must complete all 8 classes at your expense. You are to have no contact with Ortega Jorge Rodriguez, stay 200 yards away from him and not communicate with him in any way, form, or manner. You're also to stay away from all MARTA locations for the duration of your probation or considering if there are any pending suspensions. So whichever is longer, that's how long you have to stay away from probation. Do you understand? You have to stay away, if not from probation, from MARTA.
Yes, I understand.
Okay. At all times, you're not allowed to own, possess, or have any firearms around you. Thank you. And your bench warrant will be dismissed.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Francois, who do we have?
This is number 18, Hill.
This is Patience Hill. Ms. Hill has got position 18 and 19. On position 18, she's accused of 1 count of battery, family violence, and 1 count of terroristic threats and acts under accusation 23 CR 5229Y. Position 19 is a bench warrant under 24 FTA 1963 from October 21st, 2024. Ms. Hill, you've been advised of your right to remain silent, and your attorney is Ms. Maureen McLeod. Ms. McLeod, how are we proceeding?
This is going to be a non-negotiated plea this morning, Your Honor.
All right. Ms. Hill, for purposes of the plea hearing, may I place you under oath? Raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear and affirm the testimony you provide will be the truth to the best of your knowledge? Unmute, Francois.
All right, I'm sorry, Judge.
Do you so swear, Ms. Hill? Speak up. Thank you. All right, Ms. Hill, this is going to be a non-negotiated plea, which means that the prosecutor is going to make a recommendation, and then your attorney will make a recommendation. I will consider both recommendations given the alleged factual basis and your criminal record history if you have one. I also have the option of disregarding either option and in setting this case down for trial. Ms. Falk?
Yes, Your Honor. The facts in this case are as follows. On August 27, 2023, officers were called out to 3200 Stone Road, Southwest, apartment A5. They spoke with Mr. Jamario Taylor, who stated that the mother of their children, Miss Patience Hill, assaulted him. He stated he went to church, he came back, she was yelling at him, hit him with a hanger, and stated, "I've got something for you. You make me want to kill you while you were asleep. I'm going to teach you a lesson." And then for his piece, he stated he went out and took a walk. He came back. While he was leaving, she grabbed and scratched him on his left arm, his left face, the back of his head, and that while outside, she followed him in the parking lot and was striking him with open hands. The officers did see visible injuries to his left arm, his left face, and on the back of his head. And she stated that the defendant, when questioned, she stated that Mr. Taylor tried to get revenge, and she confirmed she made a terroristic threat. The defendant's history is pretty recent and pretty violent. The defendant has a conviction under 24 SC 000819 for 3 counts of aggravated assault and 3 counts of cruelty to child in the 3rd degree, as well as criminal trespass. She received for that 5 years, served 6 months with 4 years and 6 months on probation. The victim in that case, if you'll just give me a moment, was Jamario Taylor, which is the same victim in our current case. She also has a 2017 aggravated battery and aggravated assault. She entered guilty on that case as well under the First Offender Act. And received 12 months probation. It was reduced to a battery, and I believe that was the entirety of her sentence on that case. She received 12 months probation on a lesser included offense of battery, and then the simple assault on the aggravated assault merged. And she also received 100 hours of community service, 4 classes of anger management, stay away from the victim in this case. And in that case, in 2017, the victim was Travis Hill. And so there is a history here of violence that is deeply concerning to the state and does not appear to be abating. For that reason, the state recommended a sentence of 12 months, serve 180 days, credit for time served 33 days. That's from August 17th to September 6th of 2023, and then December 12th, 2024 until today. Balance probated FVIP, no further contact with Jamario Taylor, no firearms, and we were asking to run count 2, 12 months consecutive to count 1, no further contact, no firearms, for a total of 24 months with 180 days to serve. FVIP, no firearms, and no further contact with Jamario Taylor. Although they do share a child, we believe they can meet through a third party for the exchange of children if necessary, but we are asking that they not have contact with each other at this time due to the level of violence that continues to occur with Mr. Taylor on the receiving end. We would like to sound at this time for Mr. Jamario Taylor, and we do ask the defense to stipulate to venue, factual basis, and identification for this non-negotiated plea.
We so stipulate.
Okay. Jamario Taylor, if you're present, please unmute and start your video. All right. Ms. McLeod, your client took a plea in the felony case in August of 2024. Looks like she was brought back into jail for failure to appear in court in October.
Is correct, Your Honor.
And she commenced the FEIP program?
I believe that she has, Your Honor.
How many classes has she done?
I don't know. We can find out from her.
All right, Ms. Hill, when did you begin your classes and with whom?
I began my classes not too far after Vietnam.
I'm sorry, you sound very muffled. Can you just tell me which agency are you doing the classes?
Defying all odds.
What?
Defying all odds.
Define all odds.
Defined all us?
It sounds like
Odds.
she's saying defying all odds.
Defying all odds, I believe.
Defying all odds, okay.
Yes.
And how many classes have you completed?
I have completed 3 classes. Okay.
3 classes? Okay. So I see that she must have successfully completed FBIB, no contact with Mr. Taylor except for child exchange unless the civil court gives a different plan. So clearly Judge Morrison was considering a legitimation action. Okay.
Yes,
And
Your
Your Honor,
Honor.
sorry, I just want to point out, she said she completed 3 classes. She's been out since May of 2024 to December 12th of 2024. So that's 7 months. And she's completed 3 classes.
But she took the plea in August, right?
Yes.
Let me double check the date of the plea. My apologies.
I see August 24th, 2024, based on Judge Morrison's order.
I'm looking on the felony conviction where she entered a plea May 2nd of 2024.
Oh, did I misread it? I'm just looking when it was filed.
And she was ordered to successfully complete the family violence
You're right,
intervention
it was May
program by
2nd.
Judge Barwick.
Yeah, you're
Yes.
correct. You're correct. Yeah, I was looking at the date the guilty plea transcript was filed. Sorry about that.
Ah.
Okay. Okay. All right, Miss,
Can I-
yes, Miss McLeod.
Yes, Your Honor, my client is 28 years old. She has basic high school education, and when she is out, she normally does janitorial work. She tells me that's the line of employment that she's been. She's a mother of 3 children that she shares with the alleged victim. One almost 11, one 8-year-old, and one who just turned 4 years old since she's been locked up. It's been a history of a very violent relationship. Based on what she tells me, she has been the victim of a great deal of domestic violence from the hands of this gentleman. In fact, he was arrested as recently as the 11th of November for violence against her and someone else in her family. The name of the person in her family is Indira Hill. That he was accused and locked up for attacking that person. And part of his bond condition, I'm looking at the bond right now, is that he is to stay away from my client's current address. She tells me that since she came out, she has not been in contact with him, but he has been the one who's been trying to come around and not just only harass her, but also other members of her family. And it's because they have 3 children and he's not legitimated these 3 children. So they had a relationship when she was a teenager, and it's been fraught with a lot of violence. But since she took that plea in May, she's not had any contact with him. And she tells me she doesn't want to have any further contact with him. She really wants to get out so she can take care of her children. It's 3 of them. And Your Honor, the alleged victim is definitely not a saint. He's been abusing her for a very, very long time. And, this was her just a victim retaliating against someone who had been abusing them. Your Honor, she really wants to get out of jail. So I would ask the court to give her a sentence which would allow her to get out of jail. She is okay with doing probation and whatever else the court thinks that she ought to do, but she does want to get out so she can take care of her 3 children, because she's just sitting there in jail, and the alleged victim has been her abuser, and there are ample cases involving him in the system.
Okay.
That's her position, Your Honor.
My question is, if she is willing to do whatever it takes, if she took her sentence in May of 2024 and she got booked into Fulton County Jail on December 12th. So between May and December 12th, she only did 3 domestic violence classes out of 26. How does that show compliance with probation? Big question. Her biggest error seems to be not complying with the felony probation, and also her other error is not showing up for court in her misdemeanor case. But at least for this year alone, I don't really see any particular infractions other than not complying with felony probation in terms of doing the domestic violence classes, and her failure to appear. Now, if she wants to get back on track and show some commitment to resolving these sentences to which she has pled guilty, I will clearly allow for that. But she needs to be accountable for the fact that she has not complied with the requirements of a felony probation. I will amend this to 12 months to serve 100 days, credit for time served 33 days. Someone give me the math, so I think it will be another 15 or 16 more days to serve at the Fulton County Jail. Would
Yes,
you
Your
agree,
Honor.
Ms. Falk?
I believe so, Your Honor.
believe so. Yes, Your Honor.
All right. So, Ms. Hill, that is the recommendation that I'm willing to consider. But then after that, you'll be on strict compliance with probation. And if you don't show proof that you are attending your classes and complying with the terms of probation, then I will have probation simply submit a revocation warrant, and you can serve out the next 2 years in prison. Because this is a consecutive sentence. If you violate this probation, you will be in prison for 2 years. Not to mention, if the felony court decides to revoke probation, you could be there for a lot longer. Would you like to accept these terms? I can't hear you, ma'am.
Yes.
All right, Ms. McLeod, shall I proceed?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. Ms. Hill and Ms. McLeod, do you stipulate to the factual basis, venue, and ID?
We do, Your Honor.
All right. Ms. Hill, have you consumed any medicine or alcohol recently?
Yes.
And after consuming your medication, are you able to understand what's going on in your case so far?
Yes.
Can you tell me how much more time will you have to spend in jail?
15 days.
15 to 16 days right now, based on our math, okay?
17 days.
We think it might be up to 17 days, depending on how the sheriff calculates it. Are you willing to do that?
Yes.
Are you satisfied with your legal services? Your voice is going down, so,
Yes.
all right. Now, Ms. McLeod has already explained and gone over the terms of the plea and your rights. Have you understood her explanations?
Yes.
And based on your discussion with your attorney, are you prepared to enter this plea freely, willingly, and knowingly?
Yes.
So you understand that you would be giving up your right to a trial in front of a judge or a jury. You will not get the chance to go back to court, confront your accuser, challenge the evidence brought against you, have the assistance of an attorney to present your arguments, defenses, and mitigating factors, and have the prosecutor carry her burden to prove the charges against you beyond a reasonable doubt. Are you prepared to give up these rights?
Yes.
How do you plead? I'm sorry? Did you have a question?
No.
How do you plead to one count of battery, family violence, and terroristic threats and acts?
Guilty.
For the battery, family violence, the sentence is 12 months to serve 100 days, credit for time served 33 days. The remainder of the time will be on probation. While you are on probation, you are to enroll or continue your domestic violence intervention program. You must show proof that you have begun your classes within 30 days of being released from the Fulton County Jail. Do you understand?
Yes.
And you are to complete the remainder of the 26 weeks of classes that you have completed without skipping any classes. So every month that you report to probation, you must have completed at least 3 to 4 more classes. You cannot skip them. Do you understand?
Yes.
I don't know what is the situation with defying all odds, if they will allow you to continue and give you credit for the classes you've already attended, or whether you must begin from scratch. So whichever program you go with, that's how it's going to be. I'm not going to give you the credit. It's going to be up to the program. Okay?
Yes.
You are to have no contact with Jamario Taylor. You are to stay 200 yards away from him, not communicate with him in any way, form, or manner. Stay away from where he lives, where he works, and where he is physically situated. Contact between him and the 3 children will only be established by a legitimation action. Do you understand?
Yes.
That means there shall be no third-party transfer between you and Mr. Taylor. If he wants to have contact, he would need to file a legitimation action, and then you would need to comply with any Superior Court order establishing joint custody, visitation, and so forth. You can, of course, ask for child support in that action. On count 2, terroristic threats and acts, how do you plead?
Guilty.
Your sentence is 12 months consecutive to count 1. You will continue to report to probation for another set of 12 months. Again, no contact with Jamario Taylor and no firearms. Your domestic violence intervention program must be completed within the 12 months after your release from jail. Do you understand? Do you understand?
Yes.
All right.
Your Honor, may I ask if she has completed all the requirements in the first 12 months? Is the second 12 month could go non-reporting?
No. She needs to comply. She's got a significant history of violence. She needs to report every month. Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor.
The bench warrant is going to be null pros.
Okay, Your Honor, we can go to position number 11 and 12, Mr. Finnick.
Okay. Ms. Challenger, have you spoken to your client?
I have, Your Honor. I just got the, we will take the offer. I just got the plea paperwork. So I did reach back out to ACDC. If she could just contact me one more time. I just need to go over that with her because I didn't have it at first.
Okay.
So yes, ACDC, Fulton, if you can, I just put my number in the chat again. If you can have my client contact me briefly so we can go over the plea paperwork and then Your Honor will be ready.
Thank you.
Not a problem.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Courtroom 2, we have Mr. Michael Fennick, accused of maintaining a disorderly house in case 24 CR 3215J from May 27th, 2022. Mr. Fennick also has a bench warrant from May 27th, 2022, 24 FTA 1946. I don't think that bench warrant date is correct. But anyways, these are the 2 open cases against Mr. Fennick. Mr. Fennick, you've been advised of your right to remain silent, and your attorney is going to be Miss Anna Wright. Ms. Wright, how are we proceeding with Mr. Fennick?
Yes, Your Honor, he is accepting the state's offer and pleading guilty.
All right. All right. Upon the entry of the not guilty plea, the bench warrant will be null pros. Mr. Fennick, please raise your right hand for purposes of the plea. Do you solemnly swear the information you provide will be the truth to the best of your knowledge?
No.
Repeat.
Well,
All right. Thank you. Ms. Falk?
Yes, Your Honor. Just for Your Honor, the date of the bench warrant is December 4th of 2024. I just went and looked at the bench warrant signed by Judge Besson.
All right. Thank you.
Not a problem. The state's recommendation on position 11 is 180 days, credit for time served 90 days from August 14th to October 17th of 2023 and December 9th of 2024 until today. That would be a time served plea with no additional probation, and we are agreeing to null pros position 12 upon the entry of this plea. We do ask the defense to stipulate to venue, factual basis, and identification for the purposes of this plea. I will just let the court know that the defendant does appear to have 2 probation violations that he is also being held on. So I do not believe this will release him today.
Thank you. Ms. Wright, do you so stipulate? Sorry, please unmute.
Sorry. I do stipulate, Your Honor.
All right, Mr. Fennec, have you consumed any medicine or alcohol recently?
No, ma'am.
Have you understood what's going on in your cases?
Yes, ma'am.
Are you satisfied with your legal services?
Yes, ma'am.
Are you entering this plea freely, willingly, and knowingly?
Yes, ma'am.
So you understand that if you plead guilty to this charge, you would have to give up your right to a trial in front of a judge or a jury. You will not be able to confront your accuser, challenge the evidence brought against you, and have the state prove the charge beyond a reasonable doubt. Are you prepared to give up these rights?
Yes, ma'am.
How do you plead to one count of maintaining a disorderly home?
Guilty.
Your sentence is 180 days, credit for time served 90 days. That closes your case out. Unfortunately, you can only be released once your other matters have been resolved. Thank you. Your bench warrant is dismissed.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Position number 3, Mr. Bates, and he's a conflict.
Is Mr. Bates at medical?
Yes, he is.
Thank you. Toma Bates is accused of battery from December 14th, 2024, case number 24CR8158A. Mr. Bates, my name is Judge Lal. Please remember that you have a right to remain silent. Anything you say in open court, your statements can and will be used against you. You have a right to an attorney, and representing you this morning is going to be Ms. McLeod or Mr. Murphy.
Your Honor, is this Nicholas Bates or someone else?
This is Toma Bates.
I don't believe he's my client.
I've got Robert Michael Coleman, number 1 on the add-on.
Mr. Bates, who is the attorney you were speaking?
Judge, I was not aware he was a conflict. They must have just indicated because he was reset from Tuesday, from SAP from December the 16th. I don't see nothing indicating that he was a conflict at that time. So when did he become a conflict?
Ms. Wright or Ms. Kim, can you advise us on why Mr. Bates is now a conflict case?
Yes, Your Honor. My understanding is that Mr. Bates is a conflict case because we represent the victim in this case. So for that reason, he has to be a conflict.
Okay, well, that was not indicated to us until now, so.
Let me see. December 16th, he had first appearance. And at that time, he was represented by, and is it Laonia Owens? Is that your alleged client?
Yes.
Okay. All right. He's accused of battery. And Ms. McLeod, do you know a Toma Bates? Date of birth, September 26, 1974.
No, Your Honor.
All right. Any objection to me appointing you to represent him?
No objection, Your Honor.
Okay. You can either confer with him today or I can reset his case to, let's see. The offer is 180 days, credit for time served 17 days. So currently the recommendation would require him to have additional jail time. I can reset his case to next Tuesday.
Yes, Your Honor. And I would need to speak. I would still like to speak to him.
Okay.
If it's possible today.
All right. Mr. Toma Bates, your attorney. Can you hear me, sir? Raise the right hand or something. Okay. Your attorney is going to be Ms. Maureen McLeod. Do you see Ms. McLeod on the screen? All right. We're going to put medical and Ms. Maureen McLeod in a breakout. You can put your hand down, sir. Mr. Jordan or Ms. Lewis? Mr. Jordan, could you place Ms. McLeod and medical into a breakout so they may confer? Thank you. Jail court iPhone, who do we have?
Well, we had one of Maureen McLeod's clients. I can grab another person.
It's Aguirre's McGee.
And what's
I can grab somebody.
And what are you going to, how are you proceeding with Mr. McGee?
Well, I haven't had a chance to discuss the state's plea offer with my client.
Okay,
And
so
Mr.
no problem. We just need to put you into a dedicated McLeod breakout Zoom room, and Mr. Jordan will set one up. So you'll first speak with medical, and then jail court iPhone will be placed in the Zoom room with you as well. Okay? All right, Mr. Jordan, we'll place medical first to talk to Ms. McLeod, and then jail court iPhone will be on deck to speak with Ms. McLeod. All right, jail court iPhone, please mute. Mr. McGee will need to speak to his attorney.
Both of them in the?
No, they have to be separate. One after the other. Okay? All right. Ms. Challenger, are we ready with your client, Jasmine?
Thomas, yes, Your Honor.
Thomas?
Yes, Your Honor, we're ready.
This is Jasmine Thomas, position 41 and 42, represented by Ms. Sharice Challenger. Ms. Thomas, you've been advised of your right to remain silent, and your attorney is Ms. Challenger. Ms. Thomas has been accused of simple battery family violence from December 4th of 2021 under accusation 21 CR 7968C. And she's got a bench warrant from September 5th, 2024 under 24 FTA 1965. And this is going to be a plea. So Ms. Thomas, please raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear and affirm the testimony you provide will be the truth to the best of your knowledge? You need to speak up, Ms. Thomas.
Yes.
Thank you. And Ms. Mokeke, what is the recommendation for Ms. Thomas?
The state's recommendation is 12 months to serve 56 days, credit for time served 28 days, the balance to be probated, that she do an FVIP course, no further violent contact with the victim, in this case, Victor Jones, no firearms. I would ask the court to sound for Mr. Victor Jones and also ask the defense to stipulate to venue, factual basis, and identification. We will be null prosing the FTA upon the plea.
Mr. Victor Jones? No. Ms. Challenger, do you so stipulate?
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you. Ms. Thomas, have you consumed any medicine or alcohol?
No.
Have you understood what's going on in your case? All right. We have a court reporter who's taking down everything you say, so you need to speak up, okay? Are you satisfied with your legal services?
Yes.
And are you entering this plea freely, willingly, and knowingly?
Yes.
If you decide to enter a guilty plea to simple battery family violence, you would have to give up your constitutional right to a trial in front of a judge or a jury. You will not get the chance to go back to court, confront your accuser, challenge the evidence that will be brought before you, present your arguments and your arguments and defenses with the assistance of counsel, and have the state prove the charge against you beyond a reasonable doubt. Are you prepared to give up these rights?
Yes.
How do you plead to one count of simple battery family violence?
Guilty.
Your sentence is 12 months to serve 56 days, credit for time served 28 days. If you have no other cases holding you, you'll be released within 24 hours, but you must report to the Fulton County Probation on Monday, January 6th, before 3 p.m. While on probation, you will enroll and complete a domestic violence intervention program. These are 26 weekly classes, and you must show proof of attendance and no skipping of any classes. And those classes must be paid for out of your own pocket. You are to have no violent contact with Victor Jones. You can communicate with Mr. Jones in person or through any other means, but you cannot have any physical or verbal altercations with him. You're also not allowed to own, possess, or have any firearms around you or in your household. Your bench warrant will be dismissed. Thank you. Courtroom 2, who do we have, please? Thank you, Ms. Challenger.
Thank you, Your Honor. Good to see you.
You too.
Position 1 and 2, John Barkin.
All right, Ms. Wright? Oh, this was conflict, wasn't it?
No, Your Honor.
That's right? Okay.
Yes, he will be accepting the offer.
Mr. Barkin's accused of violation of certain conduct at a bus, rail, or station. and also of criminal trespass from January 19th, 2024. He's also got a bench warrant from July 22nd, 2024. The accusation for the misdemeanor charges are 24 CR 418A, and the bench warrant is 24 FTA 1999. Mr. Barkin, you've been advised of your right to remain silent, and your attorney is Miss Anna Wright. May I place you under oath for purposes of the plea? Please raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear and affirm the testimony you provide will be the truth to the best of your knowledge?
Yes, ma'am.
Ms. Falk, what's the recommendation?
Yes, Your Honor. State's recommendation on count 1 is 12 months served 38 days, credit for time served 19 days from January 19th to January 20th of 2024 and December 17th of 2024 until today. Balance suspended. Stay away from MARTA in compliance with any active suspensions. Count 2 is 12 months to run concurrent with count 1. State has agreed to null pros position 2 upon the entry and acceptance of this plea. We do ask the defense to stipulate to venue factual basis and identification for the purposes of this plea. That's all for the state.
Defense stipulates.
Do we know of any active suspensions right now?
If Your Honor will just give me a moment, I can just double check with the police report and see if there were any active suspensions leveled upon Mr. Barkin when he was arrested on this case.
Okay. While you are looking, Mr. Barkin, have you consumed any medicine or alcohol?
No, ma'am.
And have you understood what's going on with your case?
Yes, ma'am.
Are you entering this plea freely, willingly, and knowingly?
Yes, ma'am. Really?
And are you satisfied with your attorney?
Yes, ma'am.
Has she explained to you that if you decide to enter a guilty plea to these charges, you would have to give up your right to a trial in front of a judge or jury?
Yes, ma'am.
You will not get the opportunity to go back to court with have the assistance of counsel to confront your accuser, challenge the evidence brought against you, and have the state prove the charges beyond a reasonable doubt. Are you prepared to give up this right?
Yes, ma'am.
Jail Court iPhone, please join the breakout with Ms. McLeod. Okay. I'm sorry. Mr. Barkin, how do you plead to certain acts at a bus, rail, or station which are prohibited and criminal trespass?
I plead guilty, Your Honor.
On the certain prohibited acts, your sentence is 12 months to serve 38 days, credit for time served 19 days, balance suspended. Your obligation for this case is completed, but you must stay away from all MARTA property in accordance with any active suspensions that are presently in place. Ms. Falk, do you know of any active suspensions?
No, it looks like he was authorized to resume writing in March of 2024 on this case.
Okay. All right, Mr. Barkin, it appears that you may be allowed to use MARTA, but before you step into a train or a bus, I highly recommend you check with a MARTA officer, give them your name, your date of birth, and they can verify whether there are any suspensions.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. On the criminal trespass is 12 months concurrent with count 1, and the bench warrant will be dismissed. Thank you. Only with any active suspensions. So, like I said, if there are none, then he can resume MARTA, but he must pay if he's going on any train or buses. But please verify with a MARTA officer before you use their facilities. Thank you.
Will I be released today?
Within 24 hours.
Thank you, ma'am.
Mm-hmm. All right. I can go to ACDC next.
This is gonna be position number 43 and 44, Watkins.
Who represents Ms. Watkins?
Likely,
Kim?
Your Honor.
All right. And how are we proceeding, Ms. Kim?
Let me double check, Your Honor.
Did you say a plea?
Yes, Your Honor. This is negotiated plea.
Negotiated plea. Okay. Mr. Shun Watkins is accused of battery under 22 CR 8088Y from September 23rd of 2022. She also has a bench warrant 24 FTA 2003 from September 25th, 2024. Ms. Watkins, you've been advised of your right to remain silent. Your attorney is Ms. Kim. May I place you under oath for purposes of the plea? Raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear and affirm the testimony you provide will be the truth to the best of your knowledge?
Yes.
Thank you. Ms. Mokeke, you can put your hand down, Ms. Watkins. What's the recommendation for position 43?
Yes, Your Honor. The state's recommendation for Ms. Watkins is 12 months to serve 42 days, credit for time served 21 days, the balance to be probated, that she undergo 12 weeks of anger management, have no further contact with Kenyatta Banks, stay away from 2500 Center Street Northwest, Atlanta. I believe that is the Woodland Heights apartment complex, and that she be in possession of absolutely no firearms. I would ask the court to sound for Ms. Kenyatta Banks and the defense to stipulate to venue, factual basis, and identification. We will be null prosing the FTA upon entry of the plea.
Ms. Bates, are you present?
Kenyatta Banks.
Oh, Banks, excuse me. Ms. Kenyatta Banks. All right. Ms. Kim, do you so stipulate?
Yes, we do, sir.
Ms. Watkins, have you consumed any medicine or alcohol recently? I can't hear you, Ms. Ms. Watkins.
No.
Have you understood what's going on in your cases?
Yes.
Are you satisfied with your attorney?
Yes.
Has it been explained to you that if you decide to plead guilty, you would have to give up your right to a trial? You will not go back to court. You will not confront your accuser, be able to challenge the evidence brought against you, and have the state prove the charges against you beyond a reasonable doubt. Are you prepared to give up these rights?
Yes.
How do you plead to one count of battery involving Kenyatta Banks?
Yes.
Repeat.
Yes.
Your sentence is 12 months to serve 42 days, credit for time served 21 days. If you have no other cases holding you at the jail, then you will be released within 24 hours, but you must report to probation next Monday before 3 p.m. That's January 6th, before 3 p.m. Probation is located at 132 Mitchell Street in downtown Atlanta. While you're on probation, you're to have no contact with Kenyatta Banks. You're to stay 200 yards away from her and not communicate with her in any way, form, or manner. You're also to stay away from the entire apartment complex known as the Woodland Heights Complex at 2500 Center Street in Northwest Atlanta. Do you understand?
Yes.
Do you live there or have any belongings there?
No.
Okay, then no reason to go back to that location. Within 45 days of being released, you will enroll and complete 12 anger management classes. You must show proof to your probation officer that you have started the anger management classes, and you will attend all 12 classes without skipping any of them. At all times while you're on probation, you're not allowed to own, possess, or have any firearms. Thank you. And the bench warrant is dismissed.
Position number 40, Mr. Solomon.
All right. Is that Ms. McLeod's case?
No.
Oh, okay. Okay, is Ms. McLeod out of the Zoom?
No, she's.
Okay, thank you. This is Anthony Solomon, accused of 2 counts of simple battery family violence and 1 count of simple battery against a person who is 65 years or older or who is pregnant at the time of the offense. Incident date is December 15th, 2024. Mr. Solomon, you have a right to remain silent. Anything you say in open court, your statements can and will be used against you in the treatment of your case. You have a right to an attorney, and representing you is Ms. Kim. Ms. Kim, how are we proceeding on Mr. Solomon?
Negotiated plea, Your Honor.
All right. Mr. Solomon, for purposes of this plea, please, may I place you under oath? Do you solemnly swear and affirm the testimony you provide will be the truth to the best of your knowledge?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. Ms. Mokeke, what's the recommendation for Mr. Solomon?
Yes, Your Honor. The recommendation is 12 months to serve 38 days, credit for time served 19 days, balance probated, that he undergo an FVIP, have no further contact with Ms. Linda Lewis, stay away from 516 Magnolia Street Northwest in Atlanta, and be in possession of absolutely no firearms. Count 2 will merge with count 1. Count 3 is 12 months to run concurrent with count 1. I would ask the court to sound for Miss Linda Lewis.
Linda Lewis, if you're present, please unmute and start your video. No? Ms. Kim, do you so stipulate?
Here, Your Honor, we would like to request for 2 months of probation fees to be waived since he has to look for his job.
All right, I'll waive it for January and February, and he'll start paying probation fees from March 1st, 2025 onwards. Mr. Solomon, have you consumed any medicine or alcohol recently?
No, ma'am.
Have you understood what's going on in your case?
Yes, ma'am.
And are you satisfied with your legal services?
Yes, ma'am.
If you decide to enter this plea, has it been explained to you that you would have to give up your constitutional rights associated with the trial?
Yes, ma'am.
You understand that you will not be able to go back to court to confront your accuser during the course of a trial in front of a judge or a jury, to be able to challenge the evidence brought against you, have the assistance of counsel to present your arguments and defenses, and have the state prove the charges against you beyond a reasonable doubt. Are you prepared to give up these rights?
Yes, ma'am.
Are you entering a plea of guilty freely, willingly, and knowingly?
Freely.
Willingly
Yes, ma'am.
and knowingly?
Yes, ma'am.
How do you plead to 1 count of simple battery, family violence, and 1 count of simple battery against someone who is 65 years or older, or who is pregnant?
Guilty.
For the simple battery, family violence, count 1 is going to be 12 months to serve 38 days, credit for time served 19 days. If you have no other cases holding you at the jail, you'll be released within 24 hours to be placed on probation. Count 2 will merge with count 1, and count 3 will be 12 months probation concurrent with count 1. With regards to being on probation, I will waive probation fees for January and February, and he will start paying probation fees from March 1st, 2025 onwards. He will also enroll and complete a domestic violence intervention program. He must show proof of enrollment within 45 days of being released, and he must attend and complete all 26 classes without skipping any classes at his own expense. He's to have no contact with Linda Lewis, stay 200 yards from Miss Lewis, and not communicate with her in any way, form, or manner. He's also to stay away from 516 Magnolia Street in Northwest Atlanta. At all times, he's not allowed to own, possess, or have any firearms anywhere near him or in his home. Mr. Solomon, do you share any children with Miss Lewis?
No, ma'am.
All right. Then that concludes your sentence. Please report to probation on Monday before 3 p.m. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, Ms. McLeod, if she's out of the breakout? Yes. Okay.
Yes, you're out of the breakout.
Okay, what's the announcement on Toma Bates?
Go ahead, please.
Your Honor, he's going to go to trial. So I will be filing away.
And Mr. McLeod, I'm gonna go ahead and plead guilty. Get over. Get over.
You understand that the state wants you to spend 180 days in jail, as I explained to you.
By the time I go to court, it's gonna be 180.
You don't know when you go to court. You could go to court within the next 30 days.
All right, we're going to hold on Mr. Bates. What's the announcement for Mr. McGee?
Your Honor, I think this should be a negotiated plea. I actually sent a message to ASG Falk, which I'm hoping she responds that it will be a negotiated plea.
My apologies. This is ASG Makake's case, so I didn't see that. Let me just check. Not a problem. Let me just check really quickly and I'll let you know.
I have a question. Will we need Anthony Townsend or either Mr. DeMarcus Cobb? Do we need these two people?
What are their position numbers?
I don't have a position number on them.
Give me the first name again.
DeMarcus Cobb, COBB.
COBB, okay, I don't have him on the SAP calendar and I don't have him on the add-on calendar.
Your Honor, I believe they are probation.
That's
calendar.
correct, Your Honor. They are probation cases.
Yes. Yes, I will need Anthony Townsend and DeMarcus Cobb for their probation hearings.
All right, thank you.
Judge,
Yes, Mr. Murphy?
I've got Robert Michael Coleman. He's position 1 on the add-on,
Yes, sir?
and I'll need to talk to him in the breakout room if possible.
Okay, as soon as he's available, we'll definitely put you in a breakout.
Thank you.
I don't know where he is right now. All right. Okay, Ms. Mokeke, any response to Ms. McLeod's counter to the plea offer? Please unmute.
I have not seen it yet, Your Honor.
I'm responding now, Your Honor.
Your Honor, this is going to be a negotiated plea.
All right, are there any changes to the plea offer?
There are, Your Honor, and I'm sending those to Ms. Makake so she is aware of the changes.
Yeah, we're talking about Mr. McGee. He's at jail court iPhone. Ms. McLeod, do you have any objection to me resetting Mr. Bates' case to Tuesday? And,
not, Your Honor.
And it will give him additional time to confer with you and get the status of the cases, and it will not prejudice him because he would be required to serve additional jail time if he accepts
Your
the
Honor.
plea, whether it's today or next Tuesday. Okay.
Yes, that will give me some time to go
Okay.
over things with him again, because I did let him know I was going to bring him the discovery in the jail. So I'll
Okay.
get a chance to do that so he can
All
see
right.
what's going on.
All right. Medical, please unmute. Medical, thank you. Mr. Bates, right now, the plea offer that's being presented by the prosecution would require you to do additional jail time. So because there would be additional jail time, I am going to reset your case to Tuesday, January 7th at 9 a.m. By then, you would have the opportunity to have a more constructive conversation with your attorney, Ms. McLeod, and she can share more information with you before you make a decision as to whether you want to plea. This resetting your case will not affect or prejudice you because you already would be in jail anyways if you accepted the plea today. Do you understand? Medical, please unmute.
Yes, ma'am, I understand.
All right, we will see you on Tuesday, January 7th at 9 a.m. Thank you. All right, with regards to Mr. Ogarius, Mondesco McGee, Mr. McGee has 2 cases before us.
I think there's 3.
Oh, yeah, sorry, he has 4.
4, yes.
Okay. All right, Mr. Ogarius McGee, position 26 is case 23 CR 4765B, accused of simple battery from February 15th, 2023. Mr. McGee has a second case, 23 CR 4766B, accused of terroristic threats and acts and simple assault family violence from January 7th, 2022. He has a third case, 24 CR 1008B, simple battery family violence from February 26, 2024. And then a fourth case, Ogarius Mondesco McGee, charged with simple battery family violence from November 15th, 2024. Mr. McGee, my name is Judge Law. Please remember that you have a right to remain silent. Anything you say in open court, your statements can and will be used against you. You have a right to an attorney, and representing you is Ms. McLeod. For purposes of your plea, may I place you under oath? Do you solemnly swear and affirm the testimony you provide will be the truth to the best of your knowledge?
Yes.
Ms. Mokeke, what's the recommendation for these 4 cases?
Did you want me to go through each of them individually or just give?
Is there one recommendation for all 4 cases?
So basically the recommendation is going to be, no, they're all kind of separate. I'll just go through them and then summarize them in the end.
Okay.
For position 26, it is 12 months to serve 14 days, balance probated, no further contact with Antonio Thomas, stay away from 450 Morgan Road in Union City. That is the Hidden Lakes apartment complex. Remain compliant with any current MH treatment plan, no firearms. That will run concurrent to 24 CR 001-008B. For position 27, count 1 is 12 months to run concurrent with count 2. Count 2 is 12 months to serve 14 days, balance probated. Again, stay away from the Hidden Lakes apartment complex. In this case, he's to have no further contact with Olin McGee, his father. Again, remain compliant with any MH treatment plans to run concurrent with 24 CR 1008B. Position 28 is 12 months to serve 180 days. The credit for time served is 78 days. Balance probated that he undergo an ADET, 40 hours community service. Again, no further contact with Olin McGee, FVIP, stay away from the apartment complex. This case will run consecutive to 24 CR 007673B, which is position 29. Position 29, the recommendation is 12 months to serve 98 days. Credit for time served 49 days, balance probated, no further contact with his father, Olin McGee. In this case, he's to stay away from 7882 Sonoya Road in Fairborn. That is the Wingate by Wyndham Hotel. Remain compliant with MH treatment plan, FVIP, no firearms. So in total, he is ordered to undergo an FVIP in a DET, remain compliant with any MH treatment plans he has, stay away from his father, Olin McGee, stay the Hidden Lakes apartment complex, stay away from Antonio Thomas, stay away from that hotel. And this is going to be a total of 24 months.
On position
Right.
20, on position 28 is 12 months to serve 180 days, credit for time served 80 days?
78 days.
So 180 days, credit for time served 78 days.
Yes, Your Honor. So he has 12 days left to serve.
Okay.
Your Honor, I thought, I did not realize that one was not going to be a time served. So I thought all of his cases were going to be a time served, so that he would be able to get out today.
Your Honor, Ms. McLeod asked for position 29 to be time served. Position 28 was not part of the negotiation for time served, and the state declines to make that a time served plea. It's 180 days. If you wish to go non-negotiated on these 4 cases, you absolutely may do so.
Yes, I guess we're going to have to go non-negotiated.
All right. In that case, then, Ms. Mokeke, would you like to establish a factual basis as this is non-negotiated now?
Yes, Your Honor. So the defendant, Mr. McGee, has 4 cases before you. 3 of them involve his father. 1 of them involved Antonio Thomas, who I believe was a neighbor. The case involving Antonio Thomas, the defendant is accused of spitting on him during a verbal altercation and also trying to punch him. The other 2 cases involving his father, position 27, that occurred in 2022, the defendant is accused of threatening to fight his father in front of police officers. Position 28, which occurred in February of 2024. The defendant is accused of striking his father, Olin McGee. Position 29, which occurred just this past November. The defendant is accused of striking his father multiple times with a closed fist and spitting in his face. So as you can see, he has a history of violence towards his father that is not abating, it's just continuing. And there's a concern that it will just continue to increase in severity. He was placed on the competency calendar, but it is my understanding that because of his lack of resources, they found that he was unlikely to comply with the program. So it does seem like he does have some MH issues going on here, and he does have a history of violence outside of the cases that are before us. He has a 2022 arrest for terroristic threats out of Alabama, a 2022 arrest for terroristic threats, interstate communications with threat to kidnap and injure. He has a 2020 trespass and stalking conviction. He has a 2020 profanity conviction, and then he has a 2013 harassing communications and also a 2013 obstruction of a court order, which is why the state's recommendation is what it is and why we're not agreeing to time served in his cases.
All right. Ms. McLeod, has there been any determination that he's incompetent?
Yes, Your Honor. There was a mental health evaluation done in July of last year. Also, the allegations about terroristic threats and so on, these cases had been pending. In fact, I had been in contact with the Federal Defender's Office, who got all of those charges dismissed based on his mental health situation, Your Honor. His father, he does not live with his father. His father.
My concern is,
I'm sorry.
has his competency been restored, or is he still deemed to be incompetent?
Your Honor, my client functions at the level of about a 12-year-old. His confidence has not been restored. It was deemed that he could do like mental health court, because he is the kind of person who will show up for appointments and so on. He is very good about that. But we're talking about someone who's functioning at about the age of a 12-year-old person. He has to live with someone. He's lived with his mom or in kind of a situation, a more controlled environment.
What's his, has he got a regular ongoing MH resource? Has he been receiving any kind of treatment?
Well, the plan was for him somebody to help him to get his SSI when he was in mental health court and to get his everything together and to get some kind of housing for him. I spoke with his mom. She called me a couple of days ago and she says that she now has a place where he can stay. The issue was they were at an extended stay hotel when the father had showed up there. That was the last episode. But she now tells me that she has a place that Agaris can stay.
Okay.
Now with her.
Folks, I'm going to reject this plea. I don't believe that Mr. McGee is competent to enter a decision freely, willingly, and knowingly based on the information I've received so far. I will consider a signature bond with an ankle monitor if I get assurances of where he lives and where he's going to be receiving treatment, as well as who is going to be his caretaker, given his current mental state. If he would like to, I'm not taking this plea unless he's been restored to competency.
No, Your Honor, I wasn't saying that. I was just saying that he can't pay for the ankle monitor. No, I just.
Well, we'll find out. I'm just throwing that out there right now. He's got these 4 open cases who have been systematically 22 in 2023 and twice in 2024. And given his criminal history record, apparently there needs to be some kind of stability and compliance with treatment and medication or medication. And given the current status, Mr. McGee is not competent to enter a plea with regards to these 4 cases. I'm going to reject the plea offer. Thank you. This case is going to be reset. How far out would you like to reset it, Ms. McLeod?
I'm not sure you're on a week, maybe, because I have to get his mom to come on and to kind of
Okay.
address some of the
She-
gaps in what is going on. But there was a competence tool, actually, the Federal Defender's Office did one, which is shared with me. And also Judge Porter ordered one, which in July, which came back in July. And you don't know.
And he was deemed
he's-
incompetent?
At the time, yes, Your Honor.
Okay, so it's up to the state now whether they want to dismiss the charges. He presently has a bond. Like I said, I am willing to consider a release bond if there are assurances that this gentleman will comply with treatment and avoid any altercations with family members and the public. Because clearly right now, his conduct shows that he is a safety threat to the community and to his family.
Well, Your Honor, we won't be dismissing the charges at this time, but if Ms. McLeod can provide a treatment plan, then of course we would consider heavily a signature bond so he can be released
Yeah.
and get.
I cannot consider a plea offer from someone who's not deemed competent. Thank you. Okay, we're going to reset this case 1 week out for a status, and that's going to be to 7, 8, 9, which will be January 9th at 9 a.m. All 4 cases.
Yes, Your Honor.
And we'll put it at the 11 a.m. calendar.
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you. Medical, who do we have, please?
Anthony Townsend from probation.
Probation. And that's at Jail Court Eiffel?
No, medical.
Medical, okay. By the way, is Mr. Coleman present?
Well, I don't have him. I'm in medical. He's on another floor.
Jail Court,
No, Mr. Coleman's on, he'll be next. I have to go across the hall of Fort South to grab him.
okay, sir,
Once
thank
I
you.
finish with Floor North.
Okay, thank you. Medical, did you say that's DeMarcus Cobb or Anthony Townsend?
Anthony Townsend.
All right. Officer Allen, good morning.
Good morning, Your Honor.
All right. Do you solemnly swear and affirm the testimony you provide will be the truth to the best of your knowledge?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, thank you. This is State versus Anthony Townsend, who's got the following convictions for theft by taking and case 24 CR 168B. Conviction for battery and willful obstruction of an officer in case 24 CR 3351D. And he's got 2 probation violation cases, 24 PV 2209 and 24 PV 2210. Mr. Townsend, my name is Judge Law, and we are addressing your probation violation cases. Please remember that you have a right to remain silent. Anything you say about the facts of these cases, your statements can and will be used against you. You have a right to an attorney. If you cannot afford one, Ms. Kim will be representing you. All right. Officer Allen, with respect to positions 3 and 4 on the revocation calendar, why is the state seeking a revocation of its sentences?
Your Honor, on case number 24 CR 00168B, the defendant was ordered to complete a shoplifting course. As of today, the defendant has failed to provide documentation of that shoplifting course. Also on 24 CR 003351D, the defendant was required to complete an anger management course as well as submit to a mental health evaluation. The defendant also failed to appear for a revocation hearing that was held on October the 8th of 2024. Your Honor, the defendant has been in custody since December the 10th of 2024. Your Honor, at this time, we ask for his cases to be, both cases to be time served and closed out.
Okay. Ms. Kim, does your client stipulate to the violations?
I believe so, Your Honor.
All right. And do you accept the recommendation?
Yes, we do.
All right. Mr. Townsend, for both the matters, the court is going to consider the time you've served at the jail and accept that as a time served or commute it to time served. And these closes out both these cases. Thank you. You are done with both these cases. Thank you, but they are recorded as violations.
Thank you.
All right.
Next is Cobb.
All right.
DeMarcus Cobb on the.
Thank you. DeMarcus Cobb's case is 22 CR 6628D, convicted of giving false information and willful obstruction of a law enforcement officer. And he's got a probation violation under 24 PV 2257. Mr. Cobb, you've been advised of your right to remain silent, and your attorney is Ms. Wright. Officer Allen, you're still under oath. What are the reasons that the state is seeking a revocation of his sentence?
Your Honor, the defendant failed to provide our office with the completion of the 50 hours of community service. He also failed to appear for a revocation hearing on August the 8th of 2023. Your Honor, the defendant has been in custody since December the 20th of 2024. We ask for this case to be community time served and closed out in the system.
Ms. Wright, does your client accept this recommendation?
Your Honor, I believe he does.
And do you stipulate to the violation of his sentence?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. The court will accept the time served, commuted to time served, and these cases are closed. Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Your Honor, that concludes my business. May I be excused?
I only took an hour and a half, Ms. Allen, but sure. Thank you.
Thank you.
Take care. All right, jail court iPhone, who do we have, please?
We have, positions number 47 and 48, Mr. Williams.
Thank you. This is State versus Zachariah Damon Williams. He's got a criminal trespass and damage to property accusation under case 24 CR 298A. He also has a bench warrant under 24 FTA 1994 from May 22nd, 2024. Mr. Williams, you've been advised, you have a right to remain silent. Anything you say about the facts of your case during this virtual proceeding, your statements can and will be used against you. You have a right to an attorney, and representing you at the present time is Ms. Kim. Ms. Kim, are we proceeding with the plea?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, Mr. Williams, please raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear and affirm the testimony you provide will be the truth to the best of your knowledge?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. Ms. McKechnie, what's the recommendation?
The state's recommendation is 12 months to serve 42 days, credit for time served 21 days, balance suspended, and no further violent contact with Kersey Williams. We will be null processing the FTA upon the entry of this plea. I would ask the defense to stipulate to venue, factual basis, and identification.
Okay. Ms. Kim, do you so stipulate?
Yes, we do.
Mr. Williams, have you consumed any medicine or alcohol?
No, ma'am.
Have you understood what's going on in your cases?
Yes, ma'am.
Are you satisfied with your legal services?
Yes, ma'am.
And has it been explained to you that if you decide to enter a plea of guilty to this charges or this charge, you would have to give up your constitutional right to a trial? You will not get a chance to go back to court, confront your accuser, challenge the evidence brought against you, and have the state prove the charge beyond a reasonable doubt. Are you prepared to give up these rights?
Yes, ma'am.
How do you plead to criminal trespass causing damage to property?
Guilty.
Repeat.
Guilty.
Your sentence is 12 months to serve 42 days, credit for time served 21 days, balance suspended. You are to have no violent contact with Kersey Williams. You can communicate with Kersey Williams, but there cannot be any physical or verbal altercations. Thank you.
Awesome.
That concludes Mr. Williams' case, and his bench warrants dismissed.
Next, we have position number 13, Mr. Gresham. What's that?
All right, we're going to waive sounding on this charge. Mr. Anthony Gresham is accused of battery of a particular nature from December 16th, 2024, under case 24 CR 8186G. Mr. Gresham, you have a right to remain silent. Anything you say in open court, your statements can and will be used against you in the treatment of your case. You have a right to an attorney. If you cannot afford one, one is appointed to represent you, and that's Ms. Anna Wright.
Yes, Your Honor.
And this is going to be a plea, Ms. Wright?
Yes, Your Honor, and if we can stipulate to all the facts, we would be happy to do that.
Okay. Mr. Gresham, may I place you under oath for purposes of the plea? Do you solemnly swear and affirm the testimony you provide will be the truth to the best of your knowledge?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, thank you. Ms. Falk, we're going to waive sounding on the charge. I understand there's a requirement for an SDET, and according to Ms. Wright, she stipulates to the factual basis, venue, and ID.
That's right.
Yes, Your Honor. So the recommendation is 12 months served, 60 days, credit for time served 18 days from December 16th, 2024 until today. Balance probated, no further contact with Monica Apodaza. Stay away from all MARTA locations, the SDET that you previously recommended, and no firearms. And we did hear that she is stipulating to venue, factual basis, and identification for the purposes of the plea. We would like to sound for Mrs. Apodaza.
Ms. Apodaza, if you are present, please unmute and start your video. All right, I'm assuming that young lady who just appeared is not Ms. Apodaza?
That's for the DV counter.
Okay. All right. Mr. Gresham, have you consumed any medicine or alcohol?
Yes, I'm under influence. I mean, not under influence, but I take mental health medicine due to my I have insomnia around.
And after consuming this medication, are you still able to understand what's going on and understand what your attorney has explained to you?
I was when you said y'all suspend the balance, that mean I would get time served and I go home today. Today.
You are jumping ahead. I still need some answers to these questions. So please focus on my question.
I'm asking about the plea. Y'all told me the time.
Mr. Gresham, let the judge ask the questions that she needs to ask and answer them, and then afterwards we'll move on to your questions. But she goes first.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yes, ma'am.
Thank you, sir.
After consuming the medicine, are you still able to understand what is going on in your case?
Yes, Your Honor.
And have you understood what your attorney has explained to you?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. So your attorney explained to you that if you decide to plead guilty, it would be 12 months to serve 60 days, credit for time served 18 days. Is that what she explained to you?
Yes, ma'am.
So if that's the explanation, then according to the calculation, you would have 12 more days to serve at the Fulton County Jail.
Yes, Your Honor. Correct.
Does that answer your question?
Correct, Your Honor.
So it's not time served. You would have 12 more days to serve at the jail, and then the remainder of the time you'll be on probation.
Yes, Your Honor.
Does that answer your question?
Yes, Your Honor.
Are you satisfied with your legal services?
Yes, Your Honor.
And are you entering a guilty plea to this battery charge freely, willingly, and knowingly?
Yes, Your Honor.
Has your attorney shown you the charge and explained what the charge is about to you?
Yes, Your Honor.
If you decide to plead guilty to this charge, you would have to give up your constitutional right to a trial. You will not go back to a courtroom. You will not have a trial in front of a judge or a jury. You will not get a chance to confront those accusing you, to challenge the evidence brought against you, to have the assistance of counsel to present your defenses and arguments, and have the state prove the charge against you beyond a reasonable doubt. Are you prepared to give up all these rights?
Yes, Your Honor.
How do you plead to one count of battery of a particular nature?
Guilty, Your Honor.
Your sentence is 12 months to serve 60 days. Credit for time served 18 days. Given the sheriff's calculation, you would have an additional 12 days to serve at the Fulton County Jail before you are released. Within 48 hours of being released, you must then report to the Fulton County Probation on either a Monday, Tuesday, or Thursday. And while on probation, you're to complete an SD evaluation and submit yourself to any treatment that's required. You must enroll in the SD program within 90 days of being released, and you must complete the program. You are to have no contact with Monica Apodoza, and you are to stay away from all MARTA property. You're not allowed at a MARTA train, a MARTA bus, not at any MARTA station, including trains and bus stations, and you cannot be on their sidewalk, their parking lot, or in any of their buildings. Do you understand?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. And at all times, you're not allowed to own, possess, or have any firearms. Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Position number 16, Mr. Michael Hartfield.
Ms. Wright, how are we proceeding with Mr. Hartsfield?
Your Honor, I'm going to need to speak to him if that's all right.
Okay. Mr. Jordan, could you please place medical and Ms. Wright in a breakout?
Thank you, Your Honor.
Okay, while we are waiting for other locations, Ms. Latasha Villamar. Latasha
Yes.
Villamar.
Yes.
All right, please start your video. All right. This is State versus Latasha Villamar, accused of simple battery family violence from June 26, 2023. The case number is 23 CR 8179B. Ms. Villamar, you have a right to remain silent. Anything you say about the facts of your case during this virtual proceeding, your statements can and will be used against you in the treatment of your case. You have a right to an attorney. If you cannot afford one, an attorney from the Public Defender's Office or Conflict Defense List would be representing you. Are you presently represented by an attorney?
No.
Have you consulted with the Public Defender's Office to see if you qualify?
I have not.
All right. You have a bench warrant that was issued on May 6, 2024. Apparently, you failed to appear before Judge Porter at that time.
I was unaware. Judge, I was
I'll
unaware
be
of that.
happy to consult video. Please do not say anything until you consult with me. You have a right to remain silent.
Okay.
Would you like to speak with an attorney?
Yes, please.
Okay. Courtroom, Mr. Jordan, could you place courtroom 2 and Ms. Villamar in a breakout, please? Ms. Villamar, you will see a message on the screen to place you in a breakout session.
Okay.
All right. I guess we'll just be in a brief recess until Ms. Wright or Ms. Kim reappear. Thank you. Mr. Murphy and Ms. McLeod, we are still waiting to address your clients, and then we'll address the competency calendar, okay? Sorry, Mr. Murphy, no idea what's the position there.
Okay, that was
Thank
on.
you. Coleman, right? Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. All right, Ms. Wright, how would you like to proceed with Mr. Hartsfield?
Yes, Your Honor, he'll be pleading guilty today.
All right. This is State versus Michael Angelo Hartsfield, accused of loitering and prowling from June 30th, 2024. Case 24 CR 5195E. Mr. Hartsfield, my name is Judge Law. I'd like to remind you that you have a right to remain silent. Anything you say in open court, your statements can and will be used against you. You have a right to an attorney, and representing you is Ms. Wright. For purposes of the plea, may I place you under oath? Do you solemnly swear and affirm the testimony you provide will be the truth to the best of your knowledge?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. Ms. Funk?
Yes, Your Honor. On the loitering and prowling, the state's recommendation is 12 months served, 54 days. Credit for time served, 27 days. That is from July 26th to July 30th of 2024 and December 12th of 2024 until today. Balance suspended. Stay away from town at Lakewood Heights apartment complex that is located at 1170 Richmond Circle Southeast in Atlanta, Georgia. We do ask the defense to stipulate to venue, factual basis, and identification for the purposes of the plea.
Defense stipulates.
Mr. Hartsfield, have you consumed any medicine or alcohol?
No, no, ma'am.
Have you understood what's going on in your case and your conversations with your lawyer?
Yes, ma'am.
Are you satisfied with your attorney?
Yes, ma'am.
Are you entering this plea freely, willingly, and knowingly?
Yes, I am.
And you understand that if you enter such a plea, you would have to give up your right to a trial. You will not be able to confront your accuser in a court of law, challenge the evidence that will be presented to you, present your own arguments and defenses, and have the state prove the charge against you beyond a reasonable doubt. Are you prepared to give up these rights?
Yes, ma'am.
How do you plead to one count of loitering and prowling?
Guilty.
Your sentence is 12 months to serve 54 days, credit for time served 27 days. Balance suspended. Your jail time and obligation for this case is over. However, you must stay away from the entire complex known as Town at Lakewood Heights apartment complex at 1170 Richmond Circle in Southeast Atlanta. If you're seen at the property, you will be arrested and brought back to jail.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. Right, jail court iPhone, who do we have, please?
We have, add-on number 1, Mr. Robert Coleman.
Okay, Mr. Murphy?
Yes, Judge. I'll need to
This-
speak to him.
All right,
Have-
this is Robert Michael Coleman, accused of criminal trespass from December 5th, 2024. Mr. Coleman, I'd just like to remind you that you have a right to remain silent. Anything you say in open court, your statements can and will be used against you. And your attorney is Mr. Dennis Murphy III. We are going to put you in a breakout room so that you and your attorney may speak. Mr. Jordan? Okay, is Mr. Murphy out of the breakout too?
He was on his phone, so he called me. No, he didn't come out. Let me put him out. Here he comes.
Mr. Murphy? Attorney Murphy?
Come back. I think the last time he came out of breaking room with his phone, he had to come back out and come back on.
Uh-oh. And I think Mr. Murphy may be having some audio issues, so, and video. Mr. Murphy, if you want to leave the Zoom and then come back in, that may help. All right, looks like Mr. Murphy has left the Zoom. We'll try to reconnect. He was having some technical issues. All right. Oh, no, jail code iPhone, don't leave. We're just waiting for your attorney to come back. Deputy, we're just waiting for the attorney to come back and give his announcement, then Mr. Coleman may leave.
Okay, no, I wasn't gonna have him leave. I was gonna, because it's about, he's got about 5 people up here on, well,
Oh, I
not him,
see.
but.
Okay. No problem. I thought he was just walking away.
Oh,
Okay.
no, he wasn't gonna walk in, no.
All right. Can we send a message to Miss Kim that we're ready for her as well?
Uh-huh. It's not.
No, I'm sorry.
I'm thinking of me.
Mr. Murphy, are we good? Maybe if you prompt him to start at least audio, that might help. All right. Mr. Murphy seems to be having technical issues, so we can put a pin on Mr. Coleman's case if you want to address the other cases you have, Deputy.
Oh, okay, I have, well, I guess he's on the calendar, position number 3, Mr. Gary Smith. Come on.
On the competency calendar?
Yes,
Bartel.
Mr. Bartel, are you present?
He may be in the courtroom, Miss Kim. We don't know. I don't know if he's at the jail or not. He may be in, with Miss Kim.
Oh, he might be in courtroom too.
Yeah.
Do we have any non-11 o'clock cases at jail court iPhone?
yes. Hold
Let's
on.
do those first.
Donaldson, we have positions number 9 and 10, Mr. Donaldson.
Right? On this one. The problem.
Miss Anna Wright, is this your client, Donaldson?
Honor.
Okay, and how would your client like to proceed today?
Your Honor, he would like to accept the offer. The complaining witness is Kiara Owens. I believe she is on Zoom.
Okay,
And part of the negotiations was a no further contact. But she does want contact, so we've got her on so that that can be amended to no further violent contact.
all right, sounds good. This is State versus Willie Donaldson, case number 24 CR 3580E. Mr. Donaldson is accused of battery, family violence from May 26, 2024. He's also got a bench warrant, 24 FTA 1996 from November 12th, 2024. Mr. Donaldson, you have a right to remain silent. Anything you say in open court, your statements can and will be used against you. You have a right to an attorney, and representing you is Ms. Anna Wright. For purposes of this plea, may I place you under oath? Do you solemnly swear and affirm the testimony you provide will be the truth to the best of your knowledge? To repeat?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Ms. Kiara Owens, if you want to testify, you'll need to remove your hat. There's no head covering while in court. Thank you. Ms. Falk, what's the recommendation?
Your Honor, the state's recommendation is 12 months, serve 100 days, credit for time served 50 days from June 8th, 2024 to July 9th of 2024 and December 16th of 2024 until today. The state is also requesting that the balance be probated, 40 hours of community service, FVIP, no firearms, and we are tabling the stay away and the no further violent contact until we have heard from Ms. Owens. If Ms. Owens if Your Honor would swear her in so we can inquire about whether she wants the defendant to come back to her place of residence and whether she wants no further violent contact.
All right. Ms. Kiara Owens, you'll need to put your device a little further away from you, okay, so we can see your face and lower it. Okay, that's good. And please raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear and affirm the testimony you provide will be the truth to the best of your knowledge?
Yes.
All right, and what's your full name? You can put your hand up.
Kiara Owens.
Okay. And how do you know Willie Donaldson?
That's my fiance.
Do you share any children with him?
No.
And do you all reside together?
Yes.
And what's the address where you all live?
2380 Metropolitan Parkway, apartment 304.
I'm sorry, what apartment?
304.
And what's the zip?
30315.
All right, so this is a domestic violence situation in which Mr. Donaldson was charged with battery involving you as the alleged victim from May 26, 2024. Presently, the prosecution is indicating that they don't want him to have any contact with you and to stay away from you. What's your response?
I want to continue communication and to be around each other.
What does that mean?
I don't want the stay away order. Like, I want to still continue living the same household and communicating stuff.
So you want him to continue living with you under the same roof?
Yes.
And you want him to still communicate with you?
Yes.
All right, and have contact with you?
Yes.
And what about the situation from May 26th of this year? Oh, last year, sorry.
That was a situation where I got mad. So it wasn't more so of him, it was more so me.
All right. Ms. Falk, do you have any questions?
No questions, Your Honor. We will agree to remove the stay away order, particularly in light of the fact they don't live at that residence anymore, and agree to no further violent contact.
Okay. Ms. Wright, do you stipulate to the factual basis, venue, and ID?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. Mr. Donaldson, have you consumed any medicine or alcohol?
No.
Have you understood what's going on in your case so far?
Yes, ma'am.
Are you satisfied with your legal services?
Yes, ma'am.
Are you entering a guilty plea to battery, family violence freely, willingly, and knowingly?
Yes.
Has it been explained to you that if you, once this conviction for battery, family violence goes on your record, if you are ever arrested again on the same or similar offense, it will automatically be a felony charge?
I understand.
Are you still willing to move forward?
Yes.
If you decide to plead guilty, you would have to give up your constitutional right to a trial in front of a judge or a jury. You will not go back to court to confront your accuser, challenge the evidence brought against you, to be able to present your arguments, defenses, and any mitigating factors, and to have the state carry its burden to prove the charge beyond a reasonable doubt. Are you willing to give up these rights?
Yes, ma'am.
How do you plead to one count of battery, family violence?
Guilty.
Does he have any other holds, Ms. Wright?
He does, Your Honor. He has an open felony case where he's being held on a $5,200 surety bond.
Okay. So, Mr. Donaldson, even though we are entering this conviction in court today, you will be serving probation once you are released. And you must report to probation within 48 hours of being released, and you report to 132 Mitchell Street in downtown Atlanta. While you're on probation, you will complete 40 hours of voluntary community service at any nonprofit agency that's not a church and not a school. And you will complete your community service at a minimum rate of 5 hours per month. You are to complete a domestic violence intervention program. This is a program of 26 classes, and you will enroll in that program within 45 days of being released, and you must complete all 26 classes at your expense and not skip any of those classes. The classes are once a week. You are not, because this is a battery family violence conviction, you are not allowed to own, possess, or have any firearms in your home. You have to make sure that you do not have any firearms in the home that you occupy, especially with Ms. Owens. You are to have no further violent contact with Kiara Owens, which means that you can continue to reside with her if you choose to do so and communicate and have contact with her. There cannot be any future physical or verbal altercations with Ms. Owens. Make sure that you maintain a current address and contact information with probation and the courts at all times. Thank you. The bench warrant will be dismissed.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Medical, who do we have?
This is Carlton Hall, his add-on position number 4.
All right, jail court will be with you shortly. Who represents Mr. Hall? Carlton Hall. Ms. Kim?
I believe it was PD Rights, but I'll be happy to interview.
Give me just 1 second. This is for the state all-purpose calendar, Your Honor?
It is.
Yes.
Add-on position number 4.
Add-on. Your Honor, if I could be on the breakout room with him, please.
All right. Ms. Jordan, if we could place medical and PD Honor Wright in a breakout, please. Thank you. Okay, we will resume with our bench warrant case. Latasha Villamar has had an opportunity to confer with PD attorney Ms. Kim. And Ms. Villamar, again, I remind you of your right to remain silent. Anything you say in open court, your statements can and will be used against you. I'll be right with you, Ms. Villamar. Mr. Murphy, please unmute. do we lose him again? Okay, going back to Ms. Villamar. Ms. Kim, your client failed to appear in court before Judge Porter. Why should a bench warrant be set aside?
Your Honor, we would like to have to ask for your mercy. This is only one time that she actually missed. She was struggling with homelessness. She did not have any place to live. So there was an unstable situation in terms of picking up the mails. And also, Your Honor, she had a heart failure to be hospitalized. So she has gone through physically, emotionally, psychologically, a lot of hardships lately. So we ask for your mercy to grant and set aside her bench warrant.
All right. What's her housing situation? Does she still live with, I can't remember his name. I'm so sorry. The person she was living with at Senoia Drive or something like that?
Her husband actually fled to Florida to avoid any legal troubles or being served or being arrested.
So that's Anthony Villamar?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. Ms. Falk, what's your response? And where's Miss Villamar? Where she disappeared off to? She needs a video on. You need your video. Yep, you need your video on.
Bad connection.
No.
Okay. All right. Ms. Falk?
Yes, Your Honor. Ms. Villamar herself has a history out of Florida that gives the state some concern about her attending court and her ability to appear in court. I don't know if she has any ties. I don't know if she has any ties to the community here in Georgia, being that her entirety of her history is in Florida.
Your Honor, she has a currently job, and also she has a 16 years old boy who goes to high school here. So until he gets from the high school, there's no reason for her to move as of now. And she does have a stable place now.
Okay. I'll need her to be on pretrial.
Yes, Your Honor.
So, Ms. Villamar?
She was having a hard time with her connections.
Yeah, she does have issues. Ms. Villamar, just nod your head if you can hear me. Okay.
There it is.
I'm not going to set aside the bench warrant, but I want you to go on give you a signature bond through pretrial. This is to make sure that you report to court and that you maintain a current address with the court. So I'm not going to set aside the bench warrant. You will report to the Fulton County Jail by 5 p.m. tomorrow. You will be booked in, but then you'll be released right away to be put on pretrial services. Your bond is going to be $1,500. It's going to be a signature bond, level 1 through pretrial services. You report to pretrial once a month. You are to have no contact with Anthony Villamar, no illegal drugs, no alcohol, and no weapons and firearms. And make sure that you provide us with current address, phone number, and email anytime it changes. Do you understand?
Yes.
All right. So you report to the Fulton County Jail tomorrow before 5 p.m. On the bench warrant, but I'm amending the bond to a $1,500 signature bond, level 1. So you'll be just booked in and then released on the signature bond, and you'll get the information on how to report to pretrial. Thank you.
Okay.
Your Honor.
All right. Mr. Murphy, you are free to go, Ms. Villamar.
Okay, may I speak back with Ms. Kim?
Do you have a number?
No, she's gonna email me, so I'll call her.
Okay. Mr.
Thank
Dennis, okay, thank you. Mr. Dennis Murphy? Any luck? Okay, no luck yet. Okay. Jail court iPhone, who do we have?
We have position number 33, Mr. Rahim.
Did you say 23?
33, I'm sorry, 33.
33, okay.
This is negotiated plea, Your Honor.
Okay. This is Riyad Rahim. Mr. Rahim is accused of criminal trespass and willful obstruction of an officer under accusation 24 CR 7152Y from October 16th, 2024. Mr. Rahim, my name is Judge Lal. Please remember that you have a right to remain silent. Anything you say in open court, your statements can and will be used against you. You have a right to an attorney, and representing you is Ms. Kim. Please raise your right hand for purposes of the plea. Do you solemnly swear and affirm the testimony you provide will be the truth to the best of your knowledge?
Yes, ma'am, Ms. Jesse Love.
All right, thank you. Ms. Mokeke, what's the recommendation?
The recommendation from Mr. Rahim is for count 1, 12 months to run concurrent with count 2, stay away from the racetrack located at 3503 Camp Creek Parkway in East Point. For count 2, the willful obstruction is 12 months to serve 48 days, credit for time served 24 days, balance probated, a $300 fine, and 40 hours of community service.
Ms. Kim, do you stipulate to the factual basis, venue, and ID, and does your client accept these terms?
Yes, we do.
Okay. Mr. Rahim, have you consumed any medicine or alcohol recently?
No, ma'am. I've been taking my meds here.
Okay. After consuming your meds, are you still able to understand what's going on in your case?
Yes, ma'am.
Are you satisfied with your attorney?
Yes, ma'am.
And are you entering a guilty plea to these 2 charges freely, willingly, and knowingly?
Yes, ma'am.
If you decide to enter this plea, you would have to give up your right to a trial in front of a judge or a jury. You will not go back to court. You will not be able to confront your accuser, challenge the evidence brought against you, present your own arguments and defenses, and have the state prove the charges against you beyond a reasonable doubt. Are you prepared to give up these rights?
Yes, ma'am.
How do you plead to criminal trespass and willful obstruction of an officer?
Guilty.
On the trespass charge, it will be 12 months concurrent with count 2 and to stay away from the racetrack station located at 3503 Camp Creek Parkway in East Point.
What is that?
For the criminal,
What's the 12 month MP, 12 MP?
12 months probation. You'll be on probation for the next 12 months.
Oh, yes, ma'am.
And while you're on probation, you cannot return to the racetrack station, gas station.
Yes, ma'am.
At 3503 Camp Creek Parkway in East Point, Georgia. On the willful obstruction, it will be concurrent. In other words, you'll be serving your sentence at the same time as the trespass charge. And it will be 12 months probation to serve 48 days, credit for time served 24 days. Balance probated. You will report to the probation office on Monday, January 6th, before 3 p.m. Probation office is located at 132 Mitchell Street in downtown Atlanta. While you're on probation.
Oh, thank you. I was asking, can I write that down so I can have the address?
It's being written down and you'll get it upon your release from jail.
Yes, ma'am.
But today is Thursday. You report to probation on Monday, which is next week, before 3 p.m. While you're on probation, you will pay a $300 fine and complete 40 hours of voluntary community work at any nonprofit agency that's not a church and not a school. The $300 fine must be paid at a rate of $30 per month, minimum payment of $30 per month, and you complete your community service at a rate of 5 hours per month, minimum. If you want to complete more, that'll be great, but it must be a minimum of 5 hours per month.
Yes, ma'am.
All right? And you will get that information that completes your sentence. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. I have a question.
Oh, just talk to me later, okay? I'll contact you.
I have a question.
If you-
Does that mean I have to leave? When do I be released from jail? So I can go to the.
You have a right to remain silent, and I will actually come and visit you, so don't talk to, unless it's directly related to this condition. yeah.
Does he have a probation hold?
No, Your Honor, there's another case, but I spoke with, another public defender, he should be fine.
So he should be released in time for probation on Monday?
As soon as, $300, actually bond for that case is processed, which his brother is on the way to do, he should be okay.
All right.
He said he can't pay it.
Oh. Then.
All right. In that case, Mr. Rahim, as soon as you're released from the other case, then you report to probation within 48 hours.
Okay.
All right. Thank you.
Thanks.
Medical, who do we have, please?
Number 36, Simmons.
Robert Lee Simmons, who represents him? Miss Kim, is that you?
Yes, Your Honor.
It's going to be a plea?
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Robert Lee Simmons is accused of criminal trespass from December 17th of 2024. Can't say this year anymore. In case number 24 CR 8199B. Mr. Simmons, you have a right to remain silent. Anything you say in open court, your statements can and will be used against you. You have a right to an attorney, and representing you is Ms. Kim. Since this is going to be a negotiated plea, may I please raise your right hand for the oath? Do you solemnly swear and affirm the testimony you provide will be the truth to the best of your knowledge?
Yes, ma'am. I do.
Okay. Ms. Mokeke, what's the recommendation?
Your Honor, the state's recommendation for Mr. Robert Simmons is 12 months to serve 32 days, credit for time served 16 days, that the balance be suspended and that he stay away from all MARTA locations. I would ask the defense to stipulate to venue, factual basis, and identification for purposes of the plea.
Ms. Kim?
Yes, we stipulate so.
All right. Mr. Simmons, have you consumed any medicine or alcohol?
I have no alcohol.
And are you able to understand what's going on in your case?
Yes, ma'am.
Are you satisfied with your attorney?
I am. So you said I don't get probation. I just got to serve 12 months.
Let me finish first, okay?
Yeah.
The recommendation is that you serve 32 days, credit for time served 16 days, which you've already done. So your jail time is over and there's no probation, but you cannot return to any MARTA property. So as I was saying, are you prepared to enter this plea freely, willingly, and knowingly?
I am. Yes, ma'am.
And you understand that if you plead guilty, you would have to give up your right to a trial. You will not be going back to a courtroom to face your accuser, challenge the evidence brought against you, to be able to present any defenses and arguments against the charge, and have the prosecutor prove the charge beyond a reasonable doubt. Are you prepared to give up these rights?
Yes, ma'am.
How do you plead to one count of criminal trespass?
Guilty.
Your sentence is 12 months to serve 32 days, credit for time served 16 days. Balance suspended. You'll be released within 24 hours if you don't have any other cases holding you, but you cannot return to any MARTA station and you cannot return to any MARTA bus station and train station.
Is there a MARTA card gift from out here so I can
Sure know that. I'll let you know.
Okay.
You can approach a MARTA officer to find out if you have any suspension. You would have to give your full name and your date of birth, and they can tell you whether there are any active suspensions. And if they are, you cannot return to any station, can't use the buses and the trains, you can't use the stations. It doesn't matter whether you can pay or not. You cannot go back to those stations. I'm sorry, he's unmuted. Do you understand?
Yeah.
Okay, that's his final plea. Thank you. With regards to position 1, Robert Coleman on the add-on calendar, Mr. Murphy is having technical issues, so we are going to reset that case to January 7th, 2025 at 9 a.m.
Okay.
Okay,
I'll let Mr. Coleman know.
thank you. And who do we have presently?
We have position number 20, Mr. Holliday.
This is Robert Keon Holiday, accused of simple battery from August 15th of last year, case 24 CR 8188C. Mr. Holiday, you have a right to remain silent. Anything you choose to say during the course of this proceeding, your statements can and will be used against you. You have a right to an attorney, and your appointed counsel is Ms. Anna Wright. With regards to Mr. Holiday, what are we doing today, Ms. Wright?
Your Honor, we're asking for a signature bond on this case. He actually doesn't have a bond. My understanding is that this started out in Superior Court and eventually made its way down here. It's a simple battery. I think he's been incarcerated for 100 and so days, but he doesn't want to plea. He wants to fight this case. So we're asking for a signature bond.
All right, let me get to Mr. Robert Holiday, 24, okay? So it was originally charged as an aggravated assault and he was booked in on September 13th, 2024. I don't know under what case number.
That was on 24 PI.
24 PI? 6740, okay. And then it was reduced to simple battery, and now he's got a appearance in state court of Fulton County as opposed to Superior Court. Let me see. Okay.
It's transferred back on November the 25th to state court. And you received it on December the 2nd.
Okay. Do I have pretrial here present or Miss Washington? Good morning. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
All right, we have Robert Holiday. Do you need his Superior Court case number?
I do not. Are you looking for his history or
Yes,
did you have a
please.
question? Okay, this is his third arrest. The last arrest prior to this was in May of last year for criminal trespass in Carroll County. There's no disposition that is listed there. And prior to that, the first arrest was in March of 2023 for criminal trespass, 2 counts, aggravated assault and willful obstruction. And I have no disposition, but that was out of Atlanta, possibly Fulton County. Nothing further.
All right. I've got, so on the aggravated assault from August 15, 2024, which is now a simple battery, that was from August 15, 2024. I've got a prior booking from criminal trespass from August 23rd, 2023 for a March 28, 2023 incidences involving ag assault, criminal street gang activity, possession of a sawed-off shotgun. This was from March 28.
Are those indicted cases, Your Honor? Are you able to see?
They are indicted cases, Your Honor. There are 2, 24 SC 003813 and 24 SC 004235. The 43813 case was from February 2023. The 4235 case was from March 2023. And then this case is from August of 2024. He is currently out on a $85,000 bond on one case and a $20,000 good bond on the other case. He had a revocation order on one case that was addressed because the defendant possessed a firearm on June 20th, 2023 within arm's reach while being on a bond order that stated he was to carry no weapons. What they did was they revoked his bond and then reset the status for 60 days. It looks like at that point, he was then re-released on bond.
Okay. And Ms. Folk, what's your response to the defense request for a signature bond?
I think a signature bond based on the Ayala factors alone would not be warranted. The defendant has 3 cases, 3 previous arrests, 2 which he's currently on bond for in the total amount of about $105,000, where he has now violated the conditions of the previous bonds to not commit any new crimes by allegedly committing this new crime. So the defendant, to release him on a signature bond when he's already out on $100,000 of surety bonds, would quite frankly just fly in the face of the Ayala factors that he is to have, that he is not to commit new offenses and that he is to actually be not at risk of reoffense. He is a walking risk of reoffense with these cases building up in Superior and state court.
Okay. Ms. Wright, your
Your
client
Honor-
wants to say something.
Yeah, just hold tight, hold tight. Your Honor, it doesn't sound like he's been found guilty on anything.
No, it's just open cases.
These are just open cases. And he has accumulated, like I said, 100 and some change days on this. He seems very intent on fighting his superior court charges. And I think we have to remember that he's not a convicted felon. He's just being accused.
All right. Bond is set at 5,000. It is a surety bond. He's to have no contact with Markia Jones. He's to stay 200 yards away from Miss Markia Jones and not communicate with her in any way, form, or manner. I don't know if they reside together, but if they do, then he has to stay away from wherever she lives, wherever she works, wherever she's physically situated. He's not to own, possess, or have any firearms on his person, in his vehicle, or any vehicle he occupies in his home, or anywhere within reach.
Yes,
No
Your Honor.
illegal drugs, no alcohol, and his next court date will be, he doesn't qualify for a signature bond just because of the multiple felony cases that are open.
Right.
Right, so
But if I can, Your Honor, if I can speak to him on a side chat, if possible, he seems like he really wants to talk to me.
Yeah.
After we're done here.
Sure, go ahead. We'll put you in a breakout.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Jail court iPhone and Miss Wright, you'll be in a breakout. Is Mr. Bartel in courtroom 2 by any chance?
Your Honor, yes, he's on the way.
All right. Jail court iPhone and Miss Anna Wright will go into a breakout, and Mr. Jordan, you can place whoever needs to be here for the 11 a.m. calendar. Mr. Bartel in courtroom 2, I think. Miss Falk.
That's correct.
There he is. Good morning, Mr. Bartel. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. Thank you.
All right. And whoever, and then myself and Miss Falk. Miss McLeod, are you going into a breakout with us?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. There you go, Mr. Jordan. It'll be us. Oop, courtroom 2, you need to, do we lose? Oh, they're already there. All right. Miss Anna Wright? Miss McLeod, did you have any other cases with us?
My business is now concluded.
Which other case did she have?
No, I just
I
thought
do not,
she,
Your Honor. I do not have any more.
oh.
I had just been speaking with Miss McCarthy. That's why I was still on.
Okay, all right. Thank you then. Have a good weekend. Thank
Now,
you. Mhm.
the
Bye-bye.
same to you, Your Honor.
You
Thank you.
too. Thank you. Miss Wright, what is the announcement on Mr. Halliday?
He's going to bond out, Your Honor.
Okay. Jail court iPhone, who do we have?
I'm not sure the position number, but we have, Mr. Smiley.
Okay. And Miss Wright, please submit the proposed bond order for Mr. Halliday. It's 5,000 surety with all those conditions. Thank you.
Yes, Your Honor, thank you.
And if he doesn't make bond, we're gonna reset him 2 weeks out
Yeah.
to the 16th.
Yeah. And I'm so sorry, jail court iPhone, what was the last name?
Smiley.
Myri.
Position 37, it sounds like he's saying Smiley.
Oh, Smiley. Melvin Smiley, is that correct?
Yes,
Okay, that's position 37. Miss Kim, is that going to be a plea?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. Melvin Smiley is accused of criminal trespass and fair evasion at a model property from December 16th of last year. His accusation number is 24 CR 008-191Y. Mr. Smiley, my name is Judge Lal. I'd like to remind you that you have a right to remain silent. Anything you say in open court, your statements can and will be used against you. You have a right to an attorney. If you cannot afford one, one will be appointed to represent you, and today that will be Miss Kim. May I place you under oath for purposes of your plea? Do you solemnly swear and affirm the testimony you provide will be the truth to the best of your knowledge?
Yes, Your Honor.
Ms. Mokeke, what's the recommendation?
The recommendation for Mr. Smiley is 12 months to serve 36 days, credit for time served 18 days, balance suspended, and to stay away from all MARTA locations. The recommendation for count 2, the fair evasion, is 12 months to run concurrent with count 1. Based on the warrant, it looks like he has an active suspension that is set to end in September of 2025.
All right. Ms. Kim, do you stipulate to the factual basis, venue, and ID?
Yes, we do. For the purpose of the
All right. Mr. Smiley, have you consumed any medicine or alcohol recently?
No, Your Honor.
And have you understood what's going on in your case?
Yes, ma'am.
Are you satisfied with your legal services?
Yes, ma'am.
And have you understood that if you plead guilty to these 2 charges, you would have to give up your right to a trial in front of a judge or a jury? There won't be
Yes,
a
ma'am.
chance. There won't be a chance to go back to court, to confront your accuser, challenge the evidence brought against you, be able to present your arguments and defenses, and have the state prove the charges beyond a reasonable doubt. Are you prepared to give up these rights?
Yes, ma'am.
How do you plead to criminal trespass and fair evasion at MARTA?
I plead guilty, Your Honor.
On the criminal trespass is 12 months to serve 36 days, credit for time served 18 days. Balance suspended. Once you're released, you are to stay away from all MARTA property until your suspension is over, which will be in September 2025. So you've
Yes,
got
Your
about 8-9 months before you can return to any MARTA property. Count
Yes,
2
Your
will
Honor.
be 12 months concurrent with count 1. Thank you.
Thank you.
Mhm.
Do we need, Mr. Smith on the competency, calendar?
No, we're done.
Okay.
I believe
What
for
about,
late-
Mr. Position number 22, Mr. Jenkins? We need him?
On Mr. Smith, that case is reset to January 9th from the competency calendar, just FYI. Okay, and what was the other name?
Position number 22, Mr. Jenkins?
It's PD rights case.
Miss Anna Wright?
Yes, Your Honor.
You have Ellis Jenkins, is that the name?
Yes, Your Honor, that is correct.
And what are we doing with Mr., do you need to see him today?
Yes, Your Honor.
How are we proceeding on Jenkins?
I'm so sorry. If I can see him for 1 second.
Okay,
Can you give me about 5 minutes? I just gotta run upstairs and grab them out and I'll.
okay, no problem. We'll just go over the calendar while we're waiting. Thank you.
All right.
Your Honor, actually, this case can be reset after January 10 if Ellis Jenkins. He has other
You all
case-
tell me, the officer is waiting to bring Mr. Jenkins. It's going to take him about 5 minutes, or we can reset it and Miss Wright can go speak with him at a leisure.
Yes, Your Honor, let's reset it.
Okay, Deputy for Mr. Jenkins, position 22. And how far out do you want me to reset it?
after January 10. So that will be January.
January 10, that will be January 14th.
Yes, Your Honor.
Yeah.
Your
January
Honor,
14th. Yeah,
I just want to put this on the record so that we're all clear. Even though it is a time-served plea, he is currently on a probation hold with no bond from felony court. So I just wanted to make that clear for the record because I didn't want there to be any concern that he was going to be remaining in jail if we didn't bring him down today.
duly noted. Understood, Ms. Wright, Ms. Kim? Okay. Did you have any other cases, Deputy? Mr. Jenkins is reset to Tuesday, January 14th.
I mean, that's all I have on my calendar.
Okay, then that concludes that. Thank you so much, sir. You have a great weekend.
You too.
All right. Just to go over the cases, let's begin with the probation revocation calendar. On DeMarcus Cobb and Townsend, both cases were commuted to time served. On the bench warrant calendar, the bench warrant, motion to bench warrant was denied, but a bond was amended to a 1,500 signature bond through level 1. And Ms. Kim, you will submit a proposed order?
Yes, I do. I will.
She's to report before 5 p.m. tomorrow, but will be processed through pretrial services on a 1,500 signature bond through level 1. No contact with Anthony Villamar.
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you very much. The add-on calendar, position 1, Coleman with Mr. Dennis Murphy, reset to January 7th. Council had technical issues. Position 2, Leroy Cooper, that's a not guilty, a waiver, and further notice for trial, that's for 2 and 3. Position 4, Carlton Hall.
Your Honor, I'm gonna ask for a reset for MH reasons.
Okay, so this is going to be reset to next Thursday, which is going to be January 9th. No. Yeah, January 9th at 11 a.m. And if this is going to revolve in a social worker visit, or if you need an MH evaluation, please submit one as soon as possible before next Thursday.
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, position 5, 6, Gordon Lambert. What are we doing?
Reset to January 9, 2025. There are 3 other probation violation and 1 open felony case, so he will still be here in jail.
January 9th, 2025 at 9 a.m. Okay?
Yes, Your Honor.
Marco Norris, position 7 was a plea. Archie Simpson, position 8 and 9. What are we doing?
We are also resetting this to January 9. There are open felony case and FTA case, so he will still be here in jail.
All right. Reset to January 9. Thank you.
Thank
All right,
you.
on the main all-purpose calendar, position number 1 was a plea. Position, was it a?
Yes.
Yeah, Barkin was a plea, and position 2 was null pros. Position 3 is reset to January 7th at 9 a.m., Attorney Maureen McLeod. Position 4, Brianna Beard. What are we doing?
Oh, that is also reset to January 9. She has other case as well, and she is too combative for any officer to bring out right now.
Okay. Reset to January 9th for open cases and behavior. Elias Brown, reset to January 9th at 11 a.m.
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay,
At
please,
11 o'clock counter, Judge.
sorry?
At 11 o'clock counter.
Yeah, 11 o'clock, January 9th, yeah. Position 6 and 7, Frederick Bryant is going to be a waiver of arraignment and further notice for trial, correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. Please submit your waivers to Miss Katrina Lewis as soon as possible. Thank you. Cedric Clems was released on December 23rd, so that is further notice for trial. 9 was a plea, 10 is null pros. 11 was a plea, that was Michael Fennick. 12 will be null pros. Position 13, Darnell Green, that is a waiver of arraignment and further notice for trial. Same for position 14. Position 15, Anthony Gresham was a plea. Position 16, Hartsfield was a plea. Position 17, Hightower is a waiver of arraignment and further notice for trial. Position 18 and 19, Patience Hill. This was a non-negotiated plea, and position 19 was null pros. Position 20, Robert Holliday is reset to 2 weeks out pending his release on his surety bond. Shanquella Howard is a plea. Position 22, Jenkins is reset to January 14th at 9 a.m. Position 23, Charity Jones is a plea. 24 was null pros. Position 25, Jerome Jordan is a waiver of arraignment and further notice for trial. Position 26 through 29, these are all reset to the competency calendar. And this January 9th at 11 a.m. pending information from family or placement, something to that effect. The plea was rejected by the court. Christopher Middleton, position 30 is going to be a waiver of arraignment and further notice for trial. Position 31 is reset to January 7th, next Tuesday.
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. 32 is reset to January 9th. That's Jonah Quiones.
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, and he's got 2 cases that
Yes.
have to be reset to January 7th. Okay. Mr. Rahim, it was a plea. 34, 35, James Robinson. 34 was a plea. 35 was null pros. 36 was a plea. 37, Smiley was a plea. Alexia Smith.
She was released, Your Honor.
38 and 39 are further notice pending since she's released. 40, Anthony Solomon was a plea. 41 is null prost. 42 was a plea. 43, Watkins was a plea. 44 is null pros. 45 is null pros. 46 is a plea. 47 was a plea and 48 was null prost. Any changes, corrections to be made?
No, nothing from defense.
All right, folks.
Make sure y'all send all y'all plea paperwork in a timely manner. Do I have the judge in the courtroom, please?
We will do all of that.
Y'all heard that? Okay.
No.
In addition to her 20 messages on the chat. Okay. All right, everyone. Good start to the new year, and hopefully the rest of the day goes well. Happy
Thank
New
you,
Year.
Your Honor.
Take care.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year,
Happy New
Your
Year,
Honor.
everyone.
Happy New Year, everyone.
Bye-bye.
Bye.